contentious. You see me? I've seen where we keep our wives, you know, even if they are contentious. You know what I'm saying? So I've seen brothers, you know, talk about put away their wives for any reason, any cause. You know, I can't. All wisdom is of the Lord. I'm speaking from my personal perspective. Well, in that case, let's go ahead and cut this conversation. Let's come back to it because we just officially went live, and I don't ever want any of my friends, family, brothers, situations, sisters exposed. I had to go live because the more I go on, the more I will continue in other people's works, and I'll continue in other people's works. So I had to go ahead and hit the live just because I wanted to get things jumping. So shalom to everybody. We're going to try to get it as clean and cut out of this way with this week's Torah portion as possible. Not out of the way, but you know, for my teaching, whenever it's time for me to go in, what I encourage people to do is to study the Torah all week. If you can, study the Torah all week. Okay. And then salute to our Ach and the Achwakian that's rocking with us is Bakwar. I'm gonna start sending this out. And if you're rocking with us, please send this out. All right, so this is a safe place. It's a place we'll be teaching the Torah portion. Try to get through it again as quick as possible because I'm on a limited time frame. And until we get to a place where, you know, we have the open space and, and this is crazy too, because this week's Torah portion is one of my favorites. And I want to go in on it so bad. I want to go in on this Torah portion so bad. First of all, it is the 42nd Torah portion. So if you're watching online, if you're watching on the screen, it's the 42nd and 42nd/43rd Torah portion. All right. So car 42 reporting for duty. You can't make this stuff up. All right. This week's Torah portion is tribes' journeys. All right. It's tribes' journeys. All right. It's the journeys of the tribes of Yasharallah. All right. So our forefathers, we left from captivity, leaving from Egypt, and as we traveled, we went through different lands. We had different, adventures. We had different, atrocities, happen to us. There's a book that I really want to show everybody, and I don't see it right now. But I pray that Yahweh allows me to find it so I can share it. All right, there's something that we're supposed to be able to do. Us being the men of Israel, the women of Israel, there's something that we're supposed to do, and we're actually supposed to draw out. We're supposed to draw out our journeys. Each king of Israel, each man of Israel wrote out the Torah throughout his life. And there's another way that I've seen this actually happen. It's so funny. I pray how they give me a big old room with a big old desk and a big old space so I can turn and get this book and get this book and get that book so I can show you. So as of now, let's go through what we can. Oh, man. Oh, man. Okay. Well, yeah, I don't like having my support. I want to have my Saparium laid around so I can reach and pull them and say, look. So the point of saying that is to say, there's a principle that Yasharallah did do. And first of all, we did wear the name escapes me at the time, but it's not the blocks that's right here. We would wear headbands and armlets and garments, shields, bucklers. We would have the Torah infused in our armlets. We would have the Torah infused. Hey, I can't show you this. So here's an example of a Torah encasement, right? Here's an example of a Torah encasement. And with the Torah encasement, you open it up, boom, you have the TORAH, you have the Torah scrolls inside of it. Now, these are like micro scrolls. So imagine having one of these, right? And look how much information is on there. I don't know if you all can see that. It's pretty tiny, right? That's TORAH. This is the Torah portion, okay? Imagine having one of these or a whole bunch of these real small with scriptures about might, with scriptures about war, and how the Most High is going to deliver our enemies into our hands. And you have one of these, right? Not one of these. You have, just, I don't know, maybe like 12 of them, right? 12 tribes of Yasharallah. right? And each scroll is embedded in your armlet. Boom, 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 boom. Or you have the scrolls going around your head. See, this is how Yasharallah really got down. So when you see the Jewish nation and the other cultures doing things that represents us, like you might see the Ethiopians, and they carry, encasements of the Torah with them. It's because they learned it from Yasharallah. Okay, they learned it from Yasharallah. My little scroll fell down. I'm gonna have to come back to that. So with that being said, I look forward to showing and being a part of these things. I want to say the TORAH to our Aqua Shariah, Sister Shariah, who sent me the Torah portion, and I didn't see it until I woke up. The Most High woke me, and I want to say TORAH, Sister Shariah, you know what I'm saying, because of that ministry. So let's get to this real quick, and also, who else? My brother Ashiaf. Thank you, brother Ashiaf, for giving me a blessed greeting this morning. Brother woke, and he saluted me. So it's very important to love each other, to salute each other, show each other, camaraderie. It's something that we do as a nation. So here we go, real quick. Let's get into it. I don't know how much time we have, but let's do as much as we can. So here's a link that everybody from Yasharallah can use. I need to start a Facebook Live. I forgot to start a Facebook Live. Here's a link that everybody can use, and I like to use this link because it's helpful to me. Why do I say it's helpful to me? Because when I go over it, what it does is it teaches me how to be able to use not only the Torah portion, but it teaches me how to be able to show our people. It teaches me how to show our people, how to show others how to study. All right. So here's the link right here. If you would like it, there's the link. All right. And that link will help you to be able to look at and study the Torah with me. It'll bring you to this website right here, which I like using this website. This website is called First Fruits of Zion. All right. This link is called First Fruits of Zion. Okay. So First Fruits of Zion, which Yasharallah, we are the first fruits of Zion. Yahweh Shai, he was the very first fruit. All right. He went through everything for us. And this, hey, Shalom, Baba Kwartawab. We're on live right now, so I'm going to use my phone for family purposes, for ministry, for teaching, and for doing YouTube. So if you want to rock with us, Ken, you can go rock with us on YouTube, man. Then you can help share out the link, and I can use my phone to be able to teach and minister and do other live broadcasts. So if you get on live on YouTube, you'll be able to listen in and watch also. I encourage everybody, if you can, get on YouTube and share out the link, because we're trying to help get this Torah portion to be able to see to the people out to the nation. All right. So what we want to do is be able to have this word, as it has been prophesied, to go out throughout the four corners of the earth, because this is what Yahweh said he would do. All right. So this week's Torah portion, let's look at it real quick. It's the book of Numbers, chapter 30. Why is Numbers chapter 30 important? Because Numbers chapter 30, the Most High told us that we had to keep our vows. Every vow that a man vowed out of his mouth, we're commanded to keep. And that's a hard one, which really shows us how in trouble we are. It also shows us how much we need Yahweh B'Hashem Mashiach Yahushua. You feel me? It also shows us how much room for improvement we need. All right, so I'm going to share this page real quick. We're going to go from Numbers chapter 30 to chapter 36. So that's a good amount of reading. All right, some of the stuff I'll be saying the number thereof, you know what I'm saying, because we're going to go into the thousands of what we received from the Midianites when we destroyed the Midianites. We're going to go into the thousands of what we received from the Midianites. There's so much in this Torah portion. So I'm going to start off with this video real quick. And while I start off with this video on YouTube, I'll be setting up my phone to do Facebook. All right, so let's get it popping. And I pray that you all enjoy this. Now, why am I going here? I'm going here first because we're a very visual people. Our people, we have to use our imagination. We have to be able to see. So some people learn by hearing, are audible listeners. Some people learn by visual. Some people are, of course, visual. Some people are kinetics. They touch things and they learn. And that's how I am. When I touch things, I learn. When I touch things, I understand more. When I listen, I can picture it in my mind. But when I see it, I can put the visual all together. So this is something I want to help with today. So today, this is the book of Numbers, chapter 33. And while we play this, it's only about 6 minutes and 9 seconds. I'm going to try to use that 6 minutes and 9 seconds to start a Facebook video on my phone so that our friends and families can participate with us also. All right, so check this out. I'm gonna play it a couple times, and what you're gonna see is the Israelites. This is where we're gonna start at. Here's our main points. We had Goshen, the Sinai Peninsula, where there was a series of events that happened through here. As you look at this map, what you're seeing is each dark point is supposed to represent a significant event that happened in the journeys of the children of Yasharallah until we went from Ramses to Jericho. Now, here's the thing about this. It's funny, but it's not funny. It's funny, but it's not funny. It would have taken us probably 2 months, maybe 2 weeks to get from Ramses to travel straight across to Jericho. But Yahweh said, I'm not going to do that. If I take them from Ramses straight to the land of Jericho, which is the land I promised them, then they might see much war. They might see a whole bunch of stuff, get stressed out. They got these Gentiles with them. And yes, the Hamites was with us when we left Egypt. East Indians, Arabs, all the nations that was in the land at the time, that was in the major metropolis that was called, Mattot-Massei, which is Egypt. Those Gentiles were with us. They came out with us. So if we would have traveled from Ramses, going straight through the wilderness of Shur, the wilderness of Zin, as his name, because of what we went through, went up to Jericho, you know what I'm saying? I just passed through Jericho, straight to Jericho. This was what the Most High point. We could have literally walked right up here, but because of our faith, our doubt, our disbelief, which literally started, it literally started at the spreading of the Sea of Reeds. It started at the splitting of the Red Sea. All right. We stood in front of Masha, Moses. We seen everything Yahweh did. And then we said, Moses, you brought us all the way from Egypt, all the way out here to this big sea. So the Egyptians, the military, could kill us. So we started from right there with issues of doubt. And then as we read through this week's Torah portion, the 42nd Torah portion is a culmination of everything that we've been reading up to. Salute to the Torah twins, Lakam Malak. They did last week's Torah portion. I'm so hurt in my heart that I missed it and then with the audio, we should be able to have a playback. There's a conference call number, but I haven't got any. I don't even want to do that conference call number no more if we can't have control over not only the playback, the publication, sharing out the media, and making sure that people can use it, because it's not going to be very productive if people can't not only have the conference call number, but have control of the conference call number. So I might just start my own and then try to see if their friends and family would operate with it like that, unless the people that are in charge of that conference call number, which, my friends and family, unless they can say, hey, here's the controls and here's the options and ways you can use it, because it's not working if we don't work it. All right. So if somebody can, let me see, go to my stream real quick. If you're in TORAH Rashwan, Yahweh Shema, all praise, faithful maker as always, posting that Torah portion, making sure our families have it. Numbers chapter 30, verse 2 through chapter 36, stopping at verse 13. So it's a lot of reading. All right. And we also have Jeremiah chapter 2, which will be Jeremiah chapter 2, it'll be verse 4 and stopping at verse 28. So that's, it's not a lot of reading. That's enough. And then we have chapter 3, starting at verse 4, and then we stop at verse 4. But also the last portion will be the gospel portion, which is what? Which will be Mark. So Mark chapter 11, verse 12 to verse 25, and then that would be it for the gospel portion. All right. So TORAH, appreciate that. Yahweh Shema Allah. All right. And let me see. Amaria, that's what I wanted to say. Sister Amaria, TORAH, Sister Amaria, for sharing the Torah portion. All right, greatly, super grateful. I rolled over, I looked, I was going through my, my things in the morning. So, okay, there we go. So they go to Torah portion. All right. So, let's see. Let's get started with. I'm gonna go in here and see if we have a conference call number. All right. All right, and again, Shalom Yasharallah, it's official, so we're back at it. All right, so for those of you who want to be involved with this week's Torah portions class, Baba Kushai, tap in. We're on live on YouTube, and we're on live. We'll be starting live on Facebook on this phone. So y'all brought coming out, I look forward to seeing all you on. And if you're on put in the conference call number. If you're watching on live on the because we're on YouTube, right? So if you're watching on YouTube, will you type in Dawadi Yahweh, all praise, Yahweh Shema. If you're watching on live, all right, will you please tap in the conference call number? And the reason being is because I hear more complaints than I hear solutions. We hear more problems and people trying to get other people to figure things out for them than applying solutions. I want to say Dawada because every Shabbat we have our beloved Akwa for Rosh Hashanah. She posted to a portion for people to visually see. We need the conference call number. Would anybody like to participate in that? And when I have the conference call number up, if you post it, please call in. It's for others to see and hear audibly. All right. So that's it right there. I'm going to leave that there. If it's not posted, then I'm not going to move on it. All right. So, but what I will do is get it cracked. Let me crack it with you. All right. I want to show you all this video, and our video will be the journeys of the children of Israel. And you see, we got the audio right. So let's see.
Here are the stages in the journey of the Israelites when they came out of Egypt by divisions under the leader. Here are the stages in the journey of the Israelites when they came out of Egypt by divisions under the leadership of Moses and Aaron. At the Lord's command, Moses recorded the stages in their journey. This is their journey by stages. The Israelites set out from Ramses on the 15th day of the first month, the day after the Passover. They marched out defiantly in full view of all the Egyptians who were burying all their firstborn, whom the Lord had struck down among them. For the Lord had brought judgment on their gods. The Israelites left Ramses and camped at Succoth. They left Succoth and camped at Etam on the edge of the desert. They left Etam, turned back to Pi-hahiroth, to the east of Baal-zephon, and camped near Migdol. They left
All right. Let me check this real quick. I tried to post it wrong. The water tried to post it. It won't go through. This happens at, well, yeah. So trying to post it on YouTube for every time it doesn't work. So if anybody would like to, you can contact me on Facebook Messenger. You can contact me on YouTube. You can send it through text message. And the conference call number is up. I greatly appreciate that. The water, thank you very much. All right. So what we just did was I just paused the video. Actually, I went through the reading of the Torah portion. So salute. The conference call number is up if anybody would like to join. And the reason why, because I've heard complaints. And then when the complaints get solved, the people that complain, they don't come back and say, "Oh, hey, well, thanks, this helped work this out," or this will do, you know. But you know what we have to do, you know, as being the ones who, you know, who have the responsibility of saying, "Oh, okay, well, how can I help?" is try to you know, rectify the situation. So the Torah portion conference call number is up if anybody would like to use it. If anybody, you know, would like to share this video out, etc., please do. Now, I want to get to this real quick. All right, so I'm going to view this on stream. I like cartography. I like all kind of weird stuff. Like I'm a nerd. I have no problem saying I can't play basketball. No problem saying that. Terrible. Be wackest. Don't pass me the ball. My best move is to pass the ball back to you. That's my best move. All right, rebound. Ain't that bad at rebound. All right, so, but let me show you this real quick. All right, so as you can see, we're looking at a very old map. I like cartography. All right. Now, what we're looking at is the journeys of Hayaladim of Yasha'Allah. We're looking at the journeys of the children of Israel. So in the process of, a lot of times, you know, one, we don't see these things ourselves. And then two, we don't show our children. Maybe just because we don't have time or whatever. But, you know, we have to see this because it's helpful. All right. So when we're looking at Deuteronomy, Deuteronomy is the culmination of the first 5 books all put together. All right. It's a culmination of the first 5 books all put together. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. Then when you get to the book of Deuteronomy, Deuteronomy just breaks down every single thing that the children of Israel went through. Well, the Most High does the same thing this week's Torah portion because we're starting to close out this chapter. We're closing out this chapter of not only what we went through, but we're also closing out the chapter of what our forefathers prophesied will happen. You know what I'm saying? So I have a few charts that I want to share, and these are on the journeys of Israel. But on the topic of the journeys of Israel, that's not the whole subject. There's so much that's within this week's Torah portion. And again, salute to Lakam, salute to Malak. You know, they did a wonderful job. You know, and again, you know, I'm hurt that I missed it. You know, I would have liked to have been a part of it, but you know, I know that the brother had his study tools out and everything, so you know, I got to see his study work. So I was like, okay, it's gonna be a good Torah portion. All right. So I want to show this real quick if I can get this image up. All right. Let me see if I can get this. I just want the image. And let's see, let's open. See, that's cool, but they're trying to give me a video. I don't want a video. Everybody trying to show you videos. You just want a couple images. This is like a good chart. Let me bring the screen share over so y'all can see it. See this. All right. Now, hopefully, we can get this one clear enough, or this one get this open enough. See, it's too blah. Those look too terrible. All right, so I'm gonna stick to the one I got. So the one that I picked was older. It's a little bit older, but it's more descriptive, and that's what I actually like about it. All right, so here we go. Here's a good one. So this is a good kids one, I guess. You know what I'm saying? This is a good kids one, but good enough for all of us. So if we look at this, here's where we're starting at. Now on this map, you're gonna have a main thing. You're gonna have the Nile River, which is this blue line that's coming straight down. Or you're gonna have the Nile River, and then you're gonna have the journeys of the children of Israel. Now, how it's documented, of course, this is the journey that we took. You're gonna follow this path. You're gonna go around, and you'll see Jericho up here. I'm gonna switch to our other map. All right, this is our, I don't want to say it like this, but this is like our grown-up map. All right, and even for us grown-ups, this is still still, too much. All right. So now we're going to switch to our grown-up map. So like I said, we have a common theme. Now remember on the other one, this was the blue. The blue you see right here, it says Nile, N-I-L. All right. So I don't know if that's Nile's flow. All right. So this is the Nile River. All right. So coming down to Egypt, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right. All flow down to the Nile. Over here, if you look right here, it's a section. It's called Heliopolis. All right. So check this out. Heliopolis is right here. Heliopolis was the city that was also in Ramses, Goshen, Ramses. So when you think about Ramses, think about the cities that the Israelites built. That when we were in captivity, we built the cities of Ramses. Now, a cool thing about Heliopolis, there's a lot of cool stuff about Heliopolis. There's a memorial that's at Heliopolis right now, to where there was a European man who professed that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob came down and whooped him. There's the pillar of Heliopolis right now, to where he professed that the God of Abraham came down and whooped him for him disobeying him, torturing the children of Israel by trying to rob us. So that's pretty cool. That's found in the book of Maccabees. I would love to talk about that. Whenever you're looking at cartography, you have to look at the details, all right? You got to look at the small things that's in the background, right? So what's happening right here? You have the city of Ramses, Goshen, all right? You have, we're in Egypt, okay? See, we're in E-G-Y-P-T, Goshen of Ramses, right? So what happened? There was a city named Heliopolis, and in Goshen of Ramses, the children of Israel went out, right? They had their staffs in their hands. You have Moses in the front, and then up under them, you have men on horses. So would you think that these men on horses were the armies down here, or were the armies up top? Well, the Israelites, when we went out, we didn't go out on horseback. The enemy went out on horseback. We went out on foot with staffs in our hands, right? And at the top, the map shows you what it says. It says Egypt, Goshen, and then you have Ramses, right? So Heliopolis, you have Goshen up top, you have Ramses. Now here's the journey of the children of Israel, right? Here's the full map. If anybody would like to see it, it's really cool. If you can, take a screenshot of that. All right, and then I'll help to share this, all right, as much as I can. But if you get a full scope or full view of the map, you're gonna see this is where we were at. We were looking at Egypt, Goshen, Ramses, Heliopolis, and here's the small image of the Israelites heading out. Here's the image of the Egyptians heading out after us. But if you look closely, let me zoom in again and put a 7 in the room if you all can see. If you all can see this, fine. Put a 7 in the room if you can hear it. Okay. If you can see it, okay. All right. Put a 3 in the room if you're having trouble seeing it. Some of the stuff might be your glasses. You see, I got my old man glasses on, but I want to make sure if I can make the screen good enough, proficient for you to see, because there's going to be a lot on here. All right. All right. You check it. 7 in the room. 7. It's all good. Hey, shalom, shalom. Yahweh Shemar Lathat. Shabbat shalom. So this is where we're going to be at. This is what we're going to be over this week's Torah portion. All right. So let's look at it. So you see how here you have different points, because in the scriptures, let's pull it up real quick. We're going to do Numbers chapter 33. Now, everybody, this week's Torah portion starts at the book of Numbers, okay, chapter 30. But we're going to be starting at Numbers chapter 33 because I want to show you all something really cool, and it may help you in the future whenever you're doing your studies. You know, you want to be able to get the visual, because when you're just reading it, it's the children of Israel went here, 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 went here. Or the children of Israel travel. And the way it is worded, the children of Israel travel unto Sukkoth. The children of Israel travel unto, and it's easy to lose attention span with that, especially with Yaladia, especially with children, especially with adults who just don't really have an interest for their own culture. All right, so let's do a few things until we get to that point. So let's do a few things. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at this map. If you look at this map, it says Egypt, of Goshen, and Ramses, right? Heliopolis is the Nile River, Israelites right there, the Egyptians under them. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, come around, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? Now watch this. If you look at each specific point has events that happen. There's events that happen in each point. Thank you, Father. Now, unfortunately, this entire map isn't scanned, so I'm going to have to find a better copy of it. So we have a couple points that's missing, but you should be able to see or get the gist of what's going on, which is why I started off this video saying I want to stand up and go get my other books. But if I do that, then we'll go over this. Which is why I also said, okay, we have to learn how to write out our own books. All right, we have to learn how to write our own books, and then even with that, we're supposed to be drawing. So I love drawing, but we'll get back to that. All right, so as you look at each point, 1, 2, 3, 4, right, and you come around 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And let me zoom in just a little bit more so y'all can see it. All right. Here's what I'm counting. I'm counting the points. These points are the journeys of the children of Israel, children of Yasharal. And as you look at this map, you should be able to see more things. I really want you to scan your eyes. I really want you to look around. What's happening in this scene right here? Right? Let's zoom in. All right. Can anybody see that? Let's zoom in. All right. Let's zoom out. Okay. I zoomed in way too much. All right. Let's zoom out a little bit. Zoom in just a little bit more. So if you've been studying the Torah, if you know the Torah, if you've been studying the journeys of the children of Israel, right? If you've been studying the Torah portion, then this imagery should start to make sense to you, right? So we see what happens. So if you look down here, it looks like a collection of people, and they all have, just like up top, they all have staffs in their hands. The staffs are pointed upward, right? They're pointed upward. You have an army general down here for the military. This is the military because they're on horses. So this is the Egyptians. This is the camp of the Israelites. This is the camp of the Egyptians, right? So camp of the Israelites heading out. You have Moses saying, go forward at the top. You have the Egyptian army. You have his staff pointing back saying, and their faces pointing back saying, let's go forward. So you have point 1, 2, 3, 4, and then come around 5. But you also have something very interesting right here. You have a pillar of fire that are over this group of people, because look, also you have the Israelites animals that's leaving out with them too. See, I love cartography. You know why? Because I love art. I like being able to read a book, to be able to see things a little bit deeper. I bet you see it now. You see it? Here's the people, the staffs are behind them. They have backs, they have sacks over their shoulder. They're leaning forward. Here's their small animals with them. They're pressing forward. There's a fire above their head. Here's a man right here with a staff in his hand. You see the staff, the maqual? Let me zoom in just a little bit more. See, hold on, wait a minute. You see this? These are the waters. You see how, look at this. I love this. You see, this is the seas, right? This is the waters, right? So you see how the waters and the seas, they have a sideways shadow. You can tell that's a current. All right? You see how these are all waves. You see how those waves go up? The waves go up. You see how those waves of water go up? So what do you think is happening right here? If you was to use your childhood-like imagination, as a group of people carrying staffs, animals walking through, here's a man right here. There's a really small man right here, but he's really big. See? He stands out. He's by himself. He has a staff in his hand. Over his head, he has a flame of fire. Who is that? That's my shot. That's Moses. Hallelujah. I want to stop right there, and I want to go to the book of Numbers, chapter 33. Numbers, chapter 33. These are the journeys of the children of Yasharal. So this is the name of this week's Torah portion. The name of this week's Torah portion is Tribes Journeys, right? Tribes Journeys. So in English, it's going to say Mattot-Massei. Mattot-Massei. But that literally translates into the tribes travels. All right, so let's get this real quick. If I do too much breaking down, then I'll take away from time. So I look forward to the occasion and the time frame and where the Father has us to where, and the time is speeding up. The time, I just did a lesson. Let me apologize to everybody. I not only missed New Moon, I worked on New Moon. Not with the high hand, out of ignorance or an accident. And this is why I praise Yahweh for the blood of Hamashiach Yahushai. And the reason being is because by these penalties, we should be put to death for a lot of our judgments, a lot of our sins, and even accidental sins, come with a punishment. So with that being said, I want to make an open confession. I did a whole lesson, starting from full moon. I was like, everybody just count 15 days. And as you count 15 days, well, that 15 days got past me of slavery. I was on a slave ship, and I think maybe on the 14th, 14.5th day, it was new moon before I knew it. And our child care provider, K, some of our mashpachayim, they told me. And it's like I couldn't see it because I was in the fog of slavery captivity, so much stress, things on my mind, whatever. So I want to openly apologize to everybody because I am a Torah promoter. I'm a Torah keeper. I'm a Shabbat promoter and keeper. And I can't stand there in good face to everybody and be like, hey, happy new moon, Shabbat Shalom, whoopie, and pretend like, oh, yeah, well, no, I accidentally broke the Shabbat, the new moon. I should have had that day off, and I should have did a lesson on it. So I didn't get a reminder that, as far as I remember, from many of my direct friends and family members. I wonder if all my friends and family worked on Shabbat. And then if any of them didn't, if they was like, I had the day off, then why didn't they contact others and be like, it's new moon, happy new moon? It's my fault. I apologize, Israel. Numbers chapter 33, verse 1. These are the journeys of the children of Israel. That's this week's Torah portion, which came forth out of the land of Egypt with their armies under the hand of Moses and Aaron. Now let's go back over here. All right, we're going to go back to our cartography. We're going to go back to our map. Now look at this. We have the journeys of the children of Israel coming out of where? Out of the land of Egypt, Gosim are Ramses. Here's Heliopolis. Here's the camp of the Israelites led by Moses and Aaron, right? So we knew we need to do this because our people have to learn. Once you read it, it's like it's a bunch of words. But when you see it, it actually can be viewed differently. These are the journeys of the children of Israel, which went forth out of the land of Egypt with their armies under the hand of Moses and Aaron. And Moses wrote their goings out according to their journeys by the commandment of Yahweh, and these are their journeys according to their goings out. So if you have any Egyptologists, any anybody that's against the Torah, that's against the learning of the way of Yahweh, then what you can do is just direct them back, not only to the word, but direct them back to history. Direct them back to cartography. Show them the maps. So these are our goings out. All right. Okay. Let me do this 1 second. Let me send a message out real quick. All right. All right. So, verse 33. And they departed out of Ramses in the first month on the 15th day of the month. So let's look at this real quick, everybody. 15th day of the lunar cycle. All right. So I'm just going to pull up images. All right. We're going to go here. Let's share this page. So 15th day of the lunar cycle lands on what's called, does anybody know the answer? So-called every 15th day should land on what lunar phase? You only have 8 phases, so-called phases, but you have micro phases within those 8 phases. So with the 15th day lunar phase, can anybody type an answer in the room starting from no light to full light? What number day would that be? We'll pull up a couple images. Would it be no light moon? Would it be waxing crescent moon? What phase would it be? Anybody? All right. Say that again, baby. I heard you. I heard you, baby. Say that again. All right. So let's look at this real quick. So if we're going through our lunar phases, we only have what's so-called 8 phases. All right. And these 8 phases are going correlation of the moon and the sun's relationship. So we have everything from what's called inferior conjunction, which is no light. Okay. Inferior conjunction is no light. When the moon, the sun, the earth all goes through their courses, and when they line up, this is what we're looking at. So we're looking at the lineup of what's called new moon. All right. So some Israelites consider to be new moon whenever they see what's called the crescents. These are the crescents for waning and waxing. You have waning crescent on one side, waxing crescent on the other side. The two of them together are the culmination of the full moon. Whenever you have no light in the middle, this is what's called new moon. If you look at this chart right here, this is what it's showing you. It's showing you that new moon is in between 2 lights. That's why it's called interlunium. All right. Interlunium is called in between 2 lights. So you have no light coming from what's called waxing all the way over to the 15th day. The 15th day is called full moon directly across from no lunium. You have plentilunium, you have interlunium. All right. So on the full moon day, and I would love to go into that a little bit more. On the full moon day is what the Torah tells us when the Eladim and Yasha took our journeys. All right. So let's go back to this real quick. I pray if anybody would like this information, it's super fun, easy, barely an inconvenience. It's not hard at all. It really just takes us we need to take time. The scripture says wisdom of a learned man comes by his opportunity of leisure. So whenever you take time and you can sit down and study, I encourage you to. All right, because it just feels good. I miss it. But I don't miss it so much to where it's like I don't try to at all. All right, so real quick, let me play this. All right, this is where we were. So we're looking at real quick and easy the journeys of our grandparents when we were coming out of Egypt. So Egypt is not a place to be glorified. It's not. Today, Egypt is dust. It's some grass. They tried to do an irrigation system. The government tried to do an irrigation system there, and it failed miserably. Why? Because the Most High said Egypt will never rise again. Why will Egypt never rise? Because of what the Egyptians did to the children of a man whose name is Israel. First of all, know this. The Egyptians were one of the first cultures to start the whole Planned Parenthood, abortion, it's called infanticide. Infanticide is the murder of your own children. So the Egyptians, under the hands at the birth of Moses, under the hands of the Pharaoh, were the first nations. And thank you, salute, peace, and blessings to all you Israelite mothers who love, care, and take care of not only your own Israelite children, but other Israelite children. Because this is what we've seen in the book of Exodus chapter 1 when Moses was born. Well, now we're at the book of Numbers, right? And Mashah, Moses, and Joshua. Because remember, Mashah, he's going his way. He's leaving, he's heading out. So when Moses died, who wrote the rest of Moses' writings? When Moses died, because we read about Moses' death. I don't know if you all remember if you were studying the Torah portion, but we've already read about Moses' death. So when Moses died, who wrote the rest of Moses' writings? It'll be contributed to Mashah because we contribute to Mashah, but Joshua had his hand in writing the TORAH also, and that has to be confessed by adult Israelites. All right, yes, we contribute to our legislator, Mashah Moses, but his student, all right, his student, whose also name was Yahushai, Jesus, Joshua, Savior, he saves. He wrote for us also. So the point of saying such is to say we have to be adults. We have to teach our people, and this is we also have to accept what the Father has given us. Let me show you an example of accept something. You see at the bottom of this map, you have a compass, north, south, east, and west. I went north, south, west, east, north, south, east, and west. Well, this same word compass is the word that's used within the scriptures you know what? Let me take that back because you have 2 words. One word is encompass, and one word is compass, like compasses. All right. This is an example of a compass. Okay. This is an example of a compass. All right. This is a very friendly and old compass. All right. So when I talk to my friends and family, I'm like, yo, we can do this and we can do this and I can show you and whoop-de-whoop-de-woo. And, I had one of my beloved elders. He was like, you just use an app on your phone. I was like, yeah, I use an app on my phone, but I also know how to use my natural apps. We also have telescopes. We also have binoculars. You know what I'm saying? We also have telescopes and binoculars. The point of saying such is to say, not only did our forefathers know the layout of the stars, the constellations, we also knew the understanding of what these words was. So it's a difference between compass and encompass. All right. So I don't want to get into that subject, but I do want to just make sure I just say that. So like north, south, east, west, that's kind of like a hang up whenever you're dealing with Israelites that's dealing with the flat earth, and even on this spherical earth topic, because earth is a sphere. Even on the spherical earth topic, you have to look up those words compass and encompass, and then you'll see that, you know, that it's a helpful comparative to help you. So whole bunch of stuff. I just went, the earth is not flat. Okay, just I gotta say it. All right. So when we look at this map, we see the journeys of our forefathers, and that's what's really important. Not only so we can learn them, but so our children can learn them. Now, at the age immediately younger ages, they're not going to get it right off bat. But this is why we show ourselves over and over, because the Most High tells us in the day that your children, your sons, come and ask you, Father, what is this? And we're supposed to be able to teach it to them. So this is the journey that we went through, but not just the journey. There's tons of buku details. And why would we not? Why would we not? You know, you have so many people, you know what I'm saying, especially Israelites or Hebrews, Rastafarians, whatever culture people want to call, our people want to call themselves under. You know, a lot of us will profess and say that we are gods, we are kings, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But, you know, in order to do and have that, we have to have the knowledge of us. So let's look at this again. So we read going through the scriptures. So we left from Ramses, all right, and we're going to see that there's a place called Shakawah Sukkot. And Shakawah Sukkot is also where our forefather, Jacob, where he inhabited. So we went back and forth throughout this land. Now, I hope that this chart actually helps you more. We're going to go back to the old school one because I really like it. This one is a little bit more modern, and it shows the journeys of the children of Israel from Ramses, Sukkot. All right, Etham, Migdal, Pithahada. All right, then we have the wilderness of Etham. All right, so we come down. All right, wilderness of Sin. All right, this is cool. This is cool. I'm looking at this map as I look at it. This is cool. But there's nothing wrong with it. It's cool. This is cool. All right, so this is real. This is much more modern, and you know, they try to make it easier, but for me, it's a little bit more complicated. I don't know. I like the old ways. I like the old ways. So y'all let me know which map you all prefer. You like it? You all want the modern map? All right. You want the older map? All right. I prefer the old school. Okay. All right. So let's get back to the scripture. First, let's pull up our map. I prefer the old school map. So if everybody remember where we were, all right, we have journey 1, 2, 3, 4. We have the children of Israel going through the sea. If you notice, and I like imagery, if you notice, this is a wall of water, and this is a wall of water. See, here's a wall. You see the waves curling up. That's not rocks. That's water, right? So let's go back to the word. All right, let's go back to the reading of the word. Throw out a salute to everybody that's rocking building. I just want to read the Bible to us. All right. So Numbers chapter 33, verse 3. And they departed from Ramses in the first month on the 15th day of the first month, on the morrow after the Pesach, after the Passover. Hayaladim Yasha'Allah, the children of Israel went out with a high hand in the sight of all the Egyptians. Now, I love this. We went out with the high hand because this means we went out kicking it, partying, boasting. We had all of their garments on. We had their jewelry on. We were literally carrying, you know, all of their spoils. We had friends that were Gentiles that was in Egypt with us. That was like, I hated the way that, you know, Pharaoh was treating y'all. I hated the way the president was treating y'all. And I'm glad that y'all leaving out of Egypt. The narrative of just the children of Israel went out of Egypt alone is stupid. It's ridiculous. It's a farce. There were Goyim that were all linked in with us because not only did Flavius Josephus documented it, Moses left he left a wonderful record that the strangers that were with us. So we left out with a high hand. My bad. The Most High just showed me it's a rainy day. I put a fan in the window and a heartbeat, boy. So we left out with a high hand. Let's see what that means, man. Let's see what that means. Let's just play around. Now, for myself, I have an understanding of what it means. But let's look at stuff. They departed from Ramses in the first month on the 15th day. We leave that for Brother Amos to break down. All right, of the first month on the morning after Passover, the children of Israel went out with a ramah. So the word here is ramah or rawam. All right, with the rawam. We left out with the upheld, with an exalted hand, with an high hand to give offer, to give praise. We was leaving. Egypt on fire. We don't need no water. Let them Hamites all burn. Right. So we left out with the to rise up, to be rise, to be high, to be exalted, to be lifted, to be high, to be set on high, to be rise, to be uplifted, to be. So we let out of Egypt in great praise. We left out of Mattot-Massei in Egypt with great praise. All right. And it'll be the same way when we leave out of captivity this time. We leave out of the land of America and other places where we've been brought into captivity. And there's a here, let me say this real quick. There's a false teaching that's going around that African Americans and those that are the transatlantic slave trade, that we are Hamites, Canaanites, that we are the children of Tyre. All right, that was something that's being brought out by some brothers that have some specific issues and doctrines. But if you ever hear about the children of Israel being connected to the Hamites, this is true because we did have a connection. There were Hamites or Africans, Canaanites that were sold into slavery along with the children of Israel. But to know that the children of Israel were sold out into prophecy and slavery in bulk, you know what I'm saying, as a whole, that's what's important. So if someone says, yeah, some Canaanites went into slavery, yeah, they did. But Yasharahla was sold into the four corners of the earth. As the book Daniel says, not has been done to all Israel. Okay. So for the Egyptians, we're in the book of Numbers, chapter 33, verse 3. And they departed out of Ramses the first month, the 15th day on the first month on the morrow after the Passover of the children, the Passover. The children of Israel went out of Israel with the rawam, with the high rawam yawad, yarawam yad, with the high hand in the sight of all the Egyptians. So imagine that. We leave in captivity praising the Most High while our enemies is watching. Now, verse 4, for the Egyptians buried all their firstborn. So while we're leaving captivity, they're re-burying. Watch this. This same narrative can not only be found right here in a safe place, which is called the Torah. This same narrative can also be found in the book of Joshua. I encourage everybody, for your own fun, let me say this. You see this library over here? You might not be able to see it. This library over here has a pretty cool collection. And on my library collection, guess what I have? Check this out. Belle Sparta. Can y'all see this? I want to see this. See? This is Belle Sparta. All right. Excellent. You see this? This is Freddy versus Jason versus Ash. The comic book, Freddy Krueger versus Jason versus Ash. Right? I got the collection. You see this? Y'all know this movie? Y'all ever seen this movie? I got the actual comics. I got the comics of this movie. The comics is crazier than the movie. This is called Deadpool Max. This is not for kids. Children cannot read this. The point of saying all that is to say this. The book of Joshua, I encourage everybody to read the book of Joshua. The book of Joshua will give you a visual of what you're reading with your Bible. Which brings me to my next point. This book is called the Haggadah. If you've never seen the Haggadah, please let me be one of the first to show you. Why is the Haggadah important? The Haggadah. Why is it important? It's important because it teaches us as men of Israel and as women of Israel how to draw out and how to write out the journeys of the children of Israel. It teaches us how to write out, how to draw out, and how to understand what we went through and what we're supposed to do on our feast days. Here, let me show you. You see this? This is why I love comic books. I love the word of Yahweh by Shema Shah, but I am a comic book reader. I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd. You see that? I got some cool comics. You see that? That's called Hollow Foil. Woo! Look at that. I got some cool comics. I got some cool comics. So I encourage everybody, if you can, please read the book of Jasher. Not only read the book of Jasher, encourage your children how to see the depictions and the pictures in the Bible. All right? Encourage your children how to see the depictions and the pictures in the scriptures so that they'll be able to also say, I see it now. All right? Hey, Shabbat Shalom. Hey, Shabbat Shalom. All right. I think I had my phone up on the. Hey, Shalom. We're on a conference call. Is anybody on? Call me out, Shalom. Let me have my phone sit down for a while. Shabbat Shalom. You want to say something? Give me a shout out. All right. No, nothing. All right. So when Yasher Aliam and them say, "Oh, we're conference call. We're on the conference call." Every time I do the Shabbat class, I pull up the conference call. Every time. Makes sense to me why the twins don't do it. Don't nobody get on it. Makes sense to me. So we want to work with promotion. We want to work with advertising. We want to help with helping others to hear the word of Yahweh. All right. So I'm glad to see you on, Saint. Shalom to Automash Makat. That's the excellent answer. It was a full moon. 15th day old moon is the full moon. All right. So you have the interlunar, which is no light, right? Which I love this chart, and the reason being is because it's older than what we look at. And I love the older charts. You have waxing crescent, first quarter. You have waning first quarter, waning gibbets coming around into full quarter, full moon, straight all the way around, and then the same lunar cycle going all the way around to waning again until you get to no moon. Absolutely. So the answer was full moon. Absolutely. The answer is full moon. All right. 15th, every roughly 15th day. Here, let's get this real quick. We'll get back to this. All right. Full moon. Every 15th day, as the moon goes through a lunar cycle, you can counter. And that's why I'm saying I was so repetitive, because I watched the moon, and then I got caught up in Babylon and all the things that was going on. And I was like, oh man, that's messed up. I forgot when new moon came. So I got cut on that one. So I just want to make sure I speak up. You know what I'm saying? And say everybody try better. So watch this. So comic books in the book of Jasher, all right. So we're in the book of Ezekiel, Numbers chapter 33, verse 4. For the Egyptians buried all their firstborn, which you can find in the book of Jasher, which Yahweh had smitten among them. Upon their gods also Yahweh executed judgment. So the Egyptians made their children to be gods, right? That's one. And then two, the Most High wasn't playing with sharing his glory with any other false deities. So when the Egyptians' children were dead, the firstborn, not only did the firstborn die that day, but any that was firstborn out of the Egyptians' families, Yahweh made the dogs to go and scrape their dead bodies out of their ground and drag their dead bodies in front of the Egyptians. So they had to bury and rebury their children. The Egyptians had to bury and then rebury what my dog Yaya. Some of you pray how I don't know, but I don't want to see it. You know, my dog go and bury up my beloved dog, or stray dogs, mangy dogs, expensive dogs, little bitty poodle dogs, big dogs, and all of them are dragging dead bodies around Egypt. So yeah, the Hamites was busy that day. Numbers chapter 33, verse 5. And the children of Yashar'alah removed from Ramses and pitched in Shakawath. So we removed from Ramses and we pitched in a place called Shakawath, which we also see that our forefather, he stayed there. Numbers chapter 33. And they departed from Shakawath and pitched in Etham, which is in the edge of the wilderness. And they removed from Etham and turned again into Pi-Hahiroth, which is before Baal-Zaran. And they pitched before Migdal. Now, I'm reading this because you're going to have to, part of it's going to be on you, a part of it's going to be on me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some imagery, but it's up to you to not be afraid. Don't be afraid of Pi-Hahiroth. Don't be afraid of that word. Find out what it means. You have to do this for yourself, which is why I wanted to show everybody the Haggadah. Within the Haggadah, it not only shows you how to write out what our journeys were, but write out our feast days. So you want to do it in Ibadia first, and excuse me, do it in your current local language, do it in Ibadia. And salute to our brother Shabar, because I think, yeah, Shabar. Yeah, because our brother Shabar, you know, he also has one of these too. So our brother's a beast on this Hebrew. So we want to write those out, because don't be afraid or intimidated by these words. Because when you go back and study the Torah portion next time, these words are going to help bring remembering. Oh, this is where Miriam died at. Oh, this is where we asked for quails. Oh, this is where Yahweh sent the serpents to come down. Oh, this is where we cursed. We tried to curse Moses. Oh, this is the location. All of these locations matter, because one day there's going to be a book. There's going to be a new book, and it's going to talk about how the children of Israel were delivered out of the land of the north and out of the hand of the sin. So that's important. So verse 9, and they removed from Marah. All right, does everybody remember Marah? What happened in the land of Marah? Right, and Edom, and they pitched in Marah, and they moved to Marah. Let's go to our map real quick. Now let's see if we can find Marah on our map. All right, now how are we going to find Marah? Here's the cool part about this. You're not gonna, you may be able to find it by, you know, if they have the words up here. But how more so can we find it? We're gonna have to find it by imagery. All right, we're gonna have to find it by iconoclasm. All right, so let me look around and let's see if we can find Marah on our map. Does anybody see it? Oh, I don't see it on this map. I'm looking close. Okay, that's okay. Yahweh came down. The commandments was given. Hold on, wait a minute. I think I got something. Yeah, I got something. Wait, is that it? No, that's the Amalekites. Okay, that's the war of the Amalekites. Okay, that's the war of the Midianites. All right, I don't know what that is. All right, that's us worshiping Baal. All right, that's Moses right here. He's going up on Mount Sinai. You see that? It says Yahweh. It don't say Ahaya. It don't say Ahaya. It says Yahweh right there. All right. So this is where the serpents came down. Okay, here we go. This is where the serpents came down, and our legislators say anybody who believes on this serpent wouldn't die. But I don't see the waters of Meribah. Oh, yeah, wait, here they are. Here they are right here. Here they are right here. Here they are. Here it is. Here's the waters of Meribah. How do we know that this is the waters of Meribah? Here it goes. Well, one way we know is by knowing the journeys. Okay. So I was too far over in the map. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have our law. If you missed the beginning of this video, then you missed a lot. But I'll say this right here. So remember, we were talking about how this is a group of iconoclasm, people that are coming through the waters, right? And there's a man right here. He has a staff in his head. There's his head. He has fire over his head. You get to 5, 6, 7. All right, let's come over here now. All right, let's come over here. All right. 5, 6, 7. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, now let's see where we are. So this is what we're looking at. We have men, and they're digging holes. Why are there holes all in the ground? What happened? Can anybody answer that question to me? What happened on the journey of the children of Israel when men were digging holes in the ground? All right, I found it right here. So we had to scroll in the map. All right. So here's our map of the journey of the children of Israel. All right. All right. If you look at this map, I don't want to leave this up. If you look at this map, can you find anywhere on the map where the children of Israel were digging holes in the ground? Right? Man, look at that, brothers. Like, man, Shalom, Grand Rising. Hey, let me ask you a question. What is great? What is great rising in Israel? What is great rising in Ibadiah? All right. Shy. All right, Shaki. What? So Shaki Coco-san. Hey, yo, Shaki Coco-san, man. What is that name? Is actually cooler than Loopy. For those who don't know, Shaki Coco-san is Loopy Genesis Lane, which I got rebuked by some of the elders. They was like, stop calling that man Loopy, loop, all that sort of stuff. And they went into a whole breakdown on what names mean. And, then the brother, he started pestering me. He was like, okay, brother. He started calling me Crumworm. So, but the brother, Shaki Coco-san, that's actually a cooler name, man. I like that's so hard. It's a dope name, Shaki Coco-san. That's dope. I think my name is cool, but your name is cooler. All right. So, Shaki Coco-san, man, what is the word Gadol? What is Gadol? If we say grand rising, can we say great rising? What would great be in our body after people? All right. Shabbat shalom, kanai, wakanawan, kalayaladim, nabanya, mani ablakam, man. I love you all. Shabbat shalom, Bawakar Tawab. All right. Shadaya, shalom, wahayaladim, shalom, Bawakar Tawab, mani ablakam. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, 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 ban sagala, shalom, shalom. All right. So let's get back to it. All right, Torah portion, stay focused. All right. If you look on your map, because I didn't get an answer yet, you're going to see right here, here's a place where there's birds coming down from the sky. Why? Why are there birds coming down from the sky? What happened in the children of Israel? What happened in the children of Israel where they were digging wells? Well, remember, we were in our journeys and we were trying to find water. All right. And the waters were bitter, the waters of Marah. All right. And they removed from Marah and came to Elam, where there were 12 fountains of water and 70 palm trees. And they pitched there. And they removed from Elam and encamped by the Red Sea. And they removed from the Red Sea and encamped in the wilderness of Sin. And they took their journey out of the wilderness of Sin and encamped in Dophkah. And they departed from Dophkah and encamped in Alush. And they removed from Alush and encamped in Rephidim, where there was no water for the people to drink. Uh-oh. And they departed from Rephidim and pitched in the wilderness of Sinai. Let's go back to our map. All right. Okay, that's a lot of journeys. That's a lot of journeying that we did. All right, so along this way, 8, 9, 10, 11 is behind this page, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So we're over here by Sinai. Now, this must be where Moses went up, because for what I see right here, it looks like we have iconoclast. Excuse me, I didn't say that. Topography. All right. It looks like there's a man on his knees and he's under the glory, right? Because that's the glory, like that's what those flashes, the glory of Yahweh. And again, it does not say Ahaya right here. This is Yahweh, Yahweh, the glory of Yahweh. So this has to be Horeb, Mount Sinai. Well, this has to be Moses. And this has to be where we couldn't get the waters, where they were wells and it was bitter water, right? So let's go back. Let's see. Can everybody see that now? See? So here's a man on his knees on top of a mountain. Can you see him? And can you see that he's under a name, and that name is great, and that name is Yahweh. And there's a great glory emitting from it. He's on Mount Sinai. And this is in the area of Horeb. So we have 13, 14, 15, 16. Right? This is the desert. So we're going to go over past 17, 18, 19. We're going to go around 20. And this is as we see our page is cut off. Right? So let's go back to the word and let's read what happened on our journeys. All right. Numbers chapter 33, verse 13. Verse 15. And they departed from Rephidim and pitched in the wilderness of Sinai. And they removed from the wilderness of Sinai and pitched in Kibroth Havatah. And they departed from Kibroth Havatah and encamped in Hazeroth. And they departed from Hazeroth and pitched in Rithmon. And they departed from Rithmon and pitched in Ramon Perez. And they departed from Ramon Perez and departed in Libnah. They removed from Libnah and pitched in Rissah. And they journeyed from Rissah and pitched in Kehelatha. And they went from Kehelatha and pitched in Mount Shephar. And they removed from Mount Shephar and encamped in Hadad, Harad, and were removed from Harad and pitched in Makkeholet, and removed from Makkeholet and encamped in Tahath, and departed from Tahath and pitched in Tarah, and removed from Tarah and pitched in Mithkah, and went from Mithkah and pitched in Hashmonah, and departed from Hashmonah and encamped in Moserah, and departed from Moserah and pitched in Benah and were removed from Benah and encamped at Hor HaGadad, and went from Hor HaGadad and pitched at Jotbathah, and they removed from Jotbathah and encamped at Ebrana, and they departed from Ebrana and encamped at Ezinagabad, and were removed from Ezinagabad and pitched in the wilderness of Zin, which is Kadesh. And they removed from Kadesh and pitched in Mount Hor, in the edge of the land of Edom. So I want to stop right there. A lot of beautiful journeys. All right. We would have to go through and see what happened on each one of these journeys. We see that what happened is when we pitched in the edge of Edom, we had an issue. Excuse me. Sorry, please excuse me, everybody. I have gas. My belly's uncomfortable. Please excuse me. When we pitched on the edge of Edom, we had an issue with the Edomites. Okay. And the issue that we had with the Edomites was that they didn't want to let us pass through their land. If everybody remembers that, this is not a new thing. It's not a new thing. It's not a new problem. There's nothing new under the sun. The Edomites always had an issue with us either living in our own blessings or just passing through their land. Now, if we would pass through their land, the Edomites would have never known because we wouldn't have bothered them. The only one that would have known we would pass through their land was who? The only one that would have known that we was passing through their land would have been the king of Edom. Only the king of Edom. Only the king of Edom knew that we were passing through his land. Everybody else in the land of Edom, they had nothing to do with them. We had nothing. We were at peace. We were at shalom. And remember this: we just came out of an oppressive situation. We just came out of slavery. We just came out of bondage. The Edomites, our brothers, they knew the condition that we were in, and this is why it's so important, because Edomite history is so very important. You have a man whose name was Zepho. And Zepho, he was a very strong, he was a very intelligent. He would basically be like the first Conan. Zepho. Zepho is like the first Conan the Barbarian. Okay. And what was the issue with Zepho? Zepho was held in captivity by Joseph. Joseph, the great Pharaoh, which was an Israelite, he had Zepho in prison. So when Zepho got out of prison, he really didn't like the Hebrews. So what Zepho did was he went to war against the Hebrews, and he made it to where he did not want us to go through their land. Now, this next part of this video that I'm going to show is troubling. All right, it's very bothersome, and the reason why it's bothersome is because the same thing that the Edomites did whenever we try to go through their land, then the same thing that the Edomites did then, that's exactly what I meant, is the same thing that the Edomites did and are doing today. So we're going to pull up real quick Numbers chapter 20, KJV, Blue Letter Bible. All right, so let's pull this up. I want to show everybody this before we go forward in the Torah portion. All right. Now, what's going on in this video is that this Israelite girl is being bullied by a mob of Edomites. You have one Edomite girl. Well, there's a few of them. You know what I'm saying? But this one, they spit on her. They threw rocks at her. They refused to let her pass through the land. And they didn't even want no trouble and issues. This is 1976. It's 1976. Now, I didn't put this on YouTube, but if I play the audio, YouTube might have an issue with me, even though this is a YouTube video. In this video, we heard all the racial slurs. You have children that are crying for no reason, and the reason why they're hurt. Look at that. Look at that face she made. She's seen that face from her mama before. Look at, you see how she rolled her neck? Look at that. Look at her eyes. Look at that pain in her face. Look at that pain in her face. Y'all want to hear what she said? I'm gonna play what she said. Look at that. Can you imagine coming out of slavery, captivity, oppression, and then your captive won't even let you go through the land? Won't even let me walk through? I can't even walk through? That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. Look at this. I'm going to play this audio real quick, and we're going to pull up Numbers chapter 20. First, let's do Numbers chapter 20. Numbers chapter 20, look at this. So when we're doing Numbers chapter 30, remember, Numbers chapter 30 is a culmination of everything that it's everything being compiled, okay? It's everything being compiled of the journeys of us on one beautiful map, all right? It's everything being compiled. And if you were paying attention in the Torah portion earlier, then you would have heard all of these stories, all right? But not just earlier for me, earlier throughout the week. You would have heard all these stories of what happened when we were at point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. These are the journeys of our grandparents and all the things that we went through just trying to get to a place that's called Jerusalem, Shalom. Just trying to get to a place that's called peace. That's all we wanted to do. We wanted to come out of captivity, go through the waters of oppression, and then we just wanted to go straight to here. We just want to go straight to Judea. You see how I spelled I-V-D-E-A? D-A-E-I. See that? Hebrew, Judea, Jericho. Crazy part about it is it's my fault. If my journey takes me from going from point 1 all the way up to 42, ain't that something? 42. Man, this is my week's story portion to teach, I guess. It's my fault. We had to go through this whole zigzag, zippity whoopity wham circle because of our own doings. We had to say, I did it. It's my fault. I'm a children of Israel. I have sinned. I have done wickedly. I have committed wickedness. I have done perversely. Guess what? That's in this week's Torah portion. All right. So let's get back to this real quick. I want to show you all. Let's read this. If I can, I would like to edify you and keep you entertained too. All right. So Numbers chapter 30. All right. So watch this. And remember this, right? The desert of Zin. You see that? So this is Numbers chapter 20. But our Torah portion is Numbers chapter 30. 33. Numbers chapter, 30. So we haven't got to that part. So we're just in Numbers chapter 33, right? So, but Numbers chapter 30 through 36 are Torah portion, but we're in chapter 33 right now. But check this out. So in our journeys, it says, then the children of Israel came, even the whole congregation, to the desert of Zin in the first month, and the people abode in Kadesh, and Miriam died there and was buried. So we have a few things. We have Zin, we have Kadesh, and let me do something real quick. All right, I'm gonna go back to our map. All right. And if everybody can see this, remember we're back on our map. Now look, so we did our travels, so now we're here. I love you so much, Yahweh. Thank you so much, Bashem Mashadel. All right. So we're going to pass through the land of the Idumeans. Idumeans. Let me show you. We're going to pass through Idumea. So we're in the book of Numbers, chapter 20. Numbers chapter 20, it says, then the children of Israel, even the whole congregation, came into the desert of Zin in the first month, and the people abode in Kadesh, and Miriam died there and was buried there, right? So Miriam died while we were here, right? And she was buried here. And what we needed to do, now this is how crazy it is. We were right, say point 33. Imagine being at point 33, and all we have to do is go straight across the street, and we would be in Jericho. From point 33 to point 42. Point 33 to point 42. Hey, bro, I love you, bro. Can I pass through here just so I can take the rest of our people over here? See, this is the land of Idumea. Let me show you. We're going to zoom in again. All right, and there's nothing new under the sun. You're definitely going to want to see this. And the reason why you're going to want to see this is because you're going to also watch this video and see how the Idumeans treat us and still treat us to this day. All right, so scroll our map all the way over. Try to keep up with us. By now, you should have been looking at it enough to kind of get familiar, to say, oh, yeah, that's over there. Oh, okay, I know where that is now. All right, but some stuff you're going to have to be shown. Now, look, here we are. I just zoomed in. Here's Zin, the wilderness of Zin, point 33. You see this? What does it say? Seirmont. What does that mean? That means Seir Mount. Well, what is Mount Seir? Mount Seir is the home of Idumea. See? Idumea. Idumea, Mount Seir. You see this? The mountain of the Edomites. And then we have Zerad. So keep that in mind because we're going to have to go to Zerad. All right? But imagine this. In the wilderness of Zin, we're almost there. Miriam, hold on. We're almost there, sis. All we have to do is walk straight across here, and we will be in the land of Idumea. The land of Judea. Judea, right? We will be in the land of Judea. But instead of being able to go across from 33 on over, this huge mountainous land with this huge river that goes into the land of Jericho, our brothers Esau will not let us pass through. So when you look at this, man, I can go into that all day. I don't want to. Not at this time. At this time, I'll let our little sisters tell us what happened. I'll let the children of Israel tell us what happened when they were on their journeys. Let's see what happened. I don't know if y'all can see the spit, and I don't know if y'all can see the rocks flying past, but just look at the hurt on his little Hebrew sister's face.
You better turn around, Yum. Don't come back. Don't come back. Don't come back. It is the man boy wanted with that.
Come on, Yum. We were riding down this block, and his white people start saying, "Get out of here, niggas. You know, get out of my neighborhood. Don't come to this neighborhood." Then they start hitting on her. Throwing rocks and everything else. Throwing rocks. Because we were in their neighborhood. We went on a bike hike to McDonald's. We didn't mean to bother anybody. We had a nice parade. We saw a gathering, so we went down there to see what was happening. All right. I mean, we didn't bother anybody. We weren't looking for trouble. I never even know people around here were like that. I've never experienced anything like this in my life.
What happened to you?
Nothing happened to me, but this little boy, short boy about my size, or little short, had picked up a rock, and he was in the front of all these tall honkies. But he threw the rock. He tried to hit my sister, but he almost hit me about that much away from me. And I was sure wish he had hit me with that rock.
Numbers chapter 20. We're going to go down to verse 18. Numbers 20. Verse 14. And Moses sent messengers from Kadesh unto the king of Edom. Thus saith thy brother Yashar'Allah. See how Moses did it? As a letter of an emissary, not as a, hey man, you Edomites. Hey man, hey Esau. No. Hey, your brother Israel. He sent the letter. Messengers from Kadesh to the king of Edom. Thus saith thy brother Yashar'Allah. And a lot of you Israelites, man, I don't know what's wrong with y'all. Y'all teachers was retarded or delayed or super extra slow. But whoever taught y'all that Goyim will not be making it or coming into the kingdom of Yahweh, you need to fire them. Fire your pastor. Fire your so-called Hebrew Israelite elder because they failed you miserably. Gentiles will be making it into the kingdom. And guess what? Israelites will be not admitted based off of them being wicked. And Israelites are the ones who the Most High gave his law, statutes, commandments, and judgments to. And Goyim, Gentiles, not even knowing him, they're seeking after him. So if anybody want to go in with me about that, I ain't on like some, oh yeah, okay. No, come on, let me show you where you're wrong at. And how your elder retarded. He's delayed for not teaching you that the Gentiles have a place in Yahweh's kingdom. You're right. So Esau didn't do good by us. And Yahweh's going to judge him by that. But we're not supposed to repay Esau for what Esau did to us, not in this dispensation. We're not. Let's get back to this. And Moses, sent messengers from Kadesh unto the king of Edom. And thus saith thy brother Yashar'Allah, thou knowest all the travail that hath befallen us. Bro, you know everything that we went through. Man, hey, bro, I don't even want to look at bro, you know everything that we went through. Our fathers went down into our fathers went down into Egypt. And we have dwelt in Egypt a long time, and the Egyptians vexed us and our fathers. And when we cried out unto Yahweh, he heard our voice and sent an angel. You see that? Yahweh has sent an angel. Let me look at this real quick. He sent an angel and have brought us forth out of Egypt. Wait a minute. This means to tell me that Yahweh, Allah was not working alone and bringing us out of captivity. This kills and cuts all antichrist, all non-messianic, all Hebrew, Yahweh only. This cuts them deep and wide. We cried unto Yahweh. He heard our voice and sent an angel. Let's look at this word angel real quick. Let's look at this word angel, right? All right. Exodus chapter 20, verse 16. We're in the Torah portion, but we're dealing with Edom, right? Cried unto Yahweh, heard our voice. He sent a mala'ak. He sent a messenger. Yahweh sent a messenger, an angel, a mala'ak. So Yahweh wasn't working alone when he delivered us from Egypt. What's the theophanic angel? What's the theophanic angel? I've never heard that. I wonder if the theophanic angel is a word that means the God angel, because theos, right? A manifestation. Okay, that's theophany. The appearance of okay. So theophany. Okay, so it's the appearance of God. So what they're saying is that this angel that came down was the representation of Allahaya, of Yahweh, the theophanic angel. Okay. All right. So boom. So we go to Esau. We say, Esau, we need to pass through your land. You know everything that we went through. You are brother. We're your brother. Right? Now let's see. Verse 16. And when we cried unto Yahweh, he heard our voice and sent an angel that brought us forth out of Egypt. And behold, we are in Kadesh, a city in the uttermost of thy border. Bro, you know what we went through. We cried unto the Most High. Yahweh sent an angel. The angel visited us, and we right down the street from you, bro. Bro, we right down the street. Esau. You can't make this stuff up. And we are in Kadesh, a city in the uttermost part of thy border. You can't make this stuff up. You can't. Hold on. Let's pull this out real quick. All right, I want to back up my map. All right, so here we are. So we're here. Moses' sister just passed away. Miriam just passed away. Yasharallah bugging on Moses. We only want to get across the street. I was using my map so much it messed up, huh? Oh, no. Oh, my little map went out on me. Okay, there we go. All right, there we go. So we only want to get across the street. So everybody was still here. All right, boom, boom. Let's take this map. I want it. Give it to us. Give it to us. I want it. I want it. Can't hide it from us. All right. So we're here. All right. So everybody that started out with us. Here's our map of EGYPT. We have Goshen, Ramses, Heliopolis. Right here, we have two camps. We have the camp of the Israelites led by Moses and Joshua, and we're headed out. And you have the camp of the Egyptians at the bottom, military camp. They're on horses, arrow and spear pointed back. Even the men, they have the head pointed back, but these horsemen have their head pointed forward. So this is coming out of Egypt. Step 1, 2, 3, 4. You come over here. Now what happens? The Israelites are coming across the Red Sea, the Sea of Reeds. How do we know? Because if you look at it, there's waves of water. You see these straight lines? These straight lines are waves of water that's coming up. We can zoom in some more. Let's go in some more. All right, let's go. Oh, man. Oh, my bad. We zoomed in too much. My bad. We zoomed in too much. There's the 6 rivers that come into Egypt. All right. And then, boom, here we go. So we have the waves coming up on the side. You see it's distinguished. See, the water lines has lines on the ground and then curving up. See? You see the ripples? So, boom. So there we are. We come up, boom. Here's Etham. All right. We have stop 6, stop 7. Right. Here's where we dug up the wells because the waters were bitter. And here's Horeb, right? Mount Sinai. Mashah goes up. He gets the commandments from Yahweh. And again, if everybody look, that does not say Ahaya. It doesn't say Ahaya, 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 Ahaya. It says Yahweh. If Moses came down saying Ahaya, Ahaya said, then we would have turned to Moses and we would have said Ahaya, Ahaya. Ahaya means I am. Yahweh means he is. So that's how we know it's Yahweh. So we have Moses at the top of Yahweh, talking about the mountain, Mount Horeb, Sinai, and we finally get up on our journeys, coming around, boom. We're in the wilderness of Zin, and we're only like a week away. All we have to do is go straight across the street. But our dear beloved brother Esau refused to let us pass.
They always say niggas are doing everything. They always say we're doing everything, right? We didn't every time the white people come down, like we don't push them out their neighborhood and throw rocks and start hitting them. We don't bother the white people around our neighborhood, but when we get in a white neighborhood, they just push us out.
Yeah, everybody was a citizen with nothing, you know, they were a piece of dirt, dogs. I mean, that's the way you treat an animal. I mean, God, we're human beings.
These is children in 1976. There's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new under the sun. Numbers chapter 33, verse 37. And they removed from Kadesh and pitched in Mount Horeb at the edge of the land of Edom. Now, this is still on our journeys. But if we switch from our journeys and go back to the reading, what happened during that time frame. Let's go to the book of Numbers chapter 20. Everybody get Numbers chapter 20. Numbers chapter 20, verse 17, verse 16. Numbers 20, verse 16. And when we cried unto Yahweh, he heard our voice and sent an angel and hath brought us forth out of the land of Egypt, slavery, bondage, captivity. And behold, we are in Kadesh, a city in the uttermost parts of their borders. Bro, we right down the street from you. Let us pass, I pray thee, through thy country. We will not pass through the fields, nor through the vineyards, neither will we drink of the water of the wells. We're not going to pass through your yards. We're not going to pass through your businesses. We're not going to drink. We ain't going to stop at your corner stores. We will go by the King's Highway. Why is that the King's Highway? Why is that important? Because the King's Highway is a private road. The king don't want to be assassinated. He don't want to be bothered. He's got something to do. It's a straight path. Yo, bro, Esau, can we just get through? We will not turn to the right hand nor to the left until we pass through thy borders. We are not going to mess with anything until we pass through your borders. Brother Esau, can we come through? We just want to pass through. Is that okay? Well, bro, let us, I pray thee, pass through your country. We're not going to go through the fields. We're not going to go through the vineyards. We're not going to drink your waters in your wells. Come on. What, we can't go through? What I do? We will not turn to the right hand or to the left. And Edom said unto him, thou shalt not pass by me, lest I come out against thee with the sword. And the children of Israel said unto him, we will go by the highway. And if I and my cattle drink thy water, then I will pay for it. Can we get through, bro? You gonna let us through, Esau? No?
Or rocks. Because we were in their neighborhood.
We went on a bike hike to McDonald's. We didn't mean to bother anybody.
We had a nice
we saw a parade, we saw a gathering, so we went down there to see what was happening. All right. I mean, we didn't bother anybody. We weren't looking for trouble. I never even know people around here were like that. I've never experienced anything like this in my life.
This is beautiful, man. I love this, and the reason being is because it not only shows this didn't happen to Canaanites, this didn't happen to the Phoenicians, to the people of Tyre. This happened to the children of Israel.
Nothing happened to me, but this little boy, short boy about my size, or little short, picked up a rock, and he was in the front of all these tall hunkies. But he threw the rock. He tried to hit my sister, but he almost hit me about that much away from me. And I was sure where she had hit me with that rock. I would pick up the rock right next to me and hit him right then in his face.
All right. That's right. So, Numbers chapter 20, and this is why we're reading this, because it's important to go along with this week's Torah portion. If you don't know what happened on the events of the Torah portion, of the journeys of us going through the land, then you're just going to be reading. It's just going to be like, oh, we just went through this land, do this. No, you have to do this. You have to get a Haggadah, and you have to also, not only with the Haggadah, it's good for you to write our feast days, but it's good for you to also write out our journeys, okay? Get you your own Haggadah and mark it up, okay? And, you know, we're not going to remember everything, but as far as repetition, it's fun. Get you some colored pens, some colored pencils, play in your books, all right? Let's get back to this real quick. Numbers chapter 20, verse 18. And Edom said unto him, thou shalt not pass by me, lest I come out against thee with the sword. And the children of Israel, and the who? And the children of Israel, and the children of Israel said unto him, we will go by the highway, and if I or my cattle drink any of thy water, then I will pay for it. Only I will only, without doing anything else, go through on my feet. And he said, thou shalt not go through. And Edom came out against him with much people and with a strong hand. It's not my problem if you don't like this or if you do like it. It's biblically what happened. We are the children of Jacob, and we're constantly treated like this.
Lives to afford these homes. Many came from the inner city, refugees from neighborhoods in the Bronx, Brooklyn, and South Jamaica. Neighborhoods they saw changing and dangerous to live in.
And everything. They always say we're doing everything, right? We didn't, every time the white people come down the block, we don't push them out their neighborhood and throw rocks and start hitting them. We don't bother the white people around our neighborhood, but when we get in a white neighborhood, they just push us out. Yeah.
I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna share this clip if anybody would like to watch it. Don't just be like, oh, that's sad. Somebody that's better than me, take this clip and use it as a video production, line it up with Numbers chapter 20. All right. Shalom, Banyam. I just seen your comments. All praise. I see your comments. Hallelujah. All right. So take this. Here. There you go. There you go. This was put on social media for you to see. All right. This was put out there for you to see. All right. So let's get back to the Torah portion reading. I thought that was interesting. Matter of fact, let's finish. I want to hear or see just a little bit more, because this, I mean, I got the moment. We might as well strike while the iron's hot. You know, might as well strike while the iron's hot. So this is not what we say, oh, well, some people, oh, no, listen, this is historical. And it's currently happening now. How do we know it's currently happening? Because at any moment, any one of us, any one of you Hebrews could be sent to the oppression or the affliction of our captives. It's just how it is. Our children can go through it. So today you have black women that call the police on a black man. You are a slave trader. You are a race trader. Israelite men who call the police. If you're not in a situation where you're being, beat to death or something like that, and you calling the police on other Israelites, this is an environment where we are being murdered. We're being murdered by oppressors, and they couldn't wait to get their hands on it. So you see stuff like this, man, it's just real.
I can't say that I hate them. I can't say that it's totally the kids' fault. I mean, I'm sure their parent had some bearing on the way they feel and everything else. I think it's just the system. I don't know.
She's older. She's mature. She wants to say. She don't want to say. She do know.
I can't say that I hate them because I don't hate anybody.
Do you forgive them?
No. No. Can't take back no hurt.
Done. All right, let's get back to the Torah. That was a perfect setting right there. Wow, that was fire. That little sister cut him deep and wide. And he said, thou shalt not go through. And Edom came out against with much people and with a strong hand. And Edom refused to give Israel passage through his border. Wherefore Israel turned away from him. And the children of Israel, even the whole congregation, journeyed from Kadesh and came unto Mount Hor. All right, so let's get back to the Torah portion reading. We're in the book of Numbers, chapter 30. And then after that, we're going to go to our handy dandy map. All right, so from right here, all we had to do, everyone, was go through everyone. So look at the word Z-I-N. And with your eyes, I want you to make an imaginary line, or you can even come through here. Look at this. Come straight back here. This would be probably what? Maybe a week, maybe a couple days. All of us would have only had to walk through. But instead, our path is set up with thistles, with thorns, with briars, with all kind of crazy stuff that we got to go through. Esau wouldn't let us go through, came out against us, bang. 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. Goodness gracious. The Most High called the Eladim Yasha'Allah stiff-necked and hard-headed people. You know, and this we are. You know, we are. You know, we are. So I'm not glorifying it. It's something that we have to correct. All right. Because the longer we're disobedient, the more we just stay in trouble. That's the reality. All right. So it's good to know these things so you can show your people. Now, here, wait. Well, one more thing. I apologize. Let's do this real quick. Where is the land of Horab Aldumia today? Where is Mount Seir today?
According to Gants Hill URC, Mount Seir still exists today. However, it is known by its Arabic name, Jibal ash-Shara. Rather than being a single mountain, the name Mount Seir refers to a mountainous region stretching from the Dead Sea, which lies between Jordan and Israel, and the Gulf of Aqaba, at the northern tip of the Red Sea.
All right, so we can take all that good, wonderful information. We can go to images. We can also go to maps. All right, I like Google Maps. Google Maps is super fun. Google Maps is super fun. Let's see what this does real quick. Oh, I'm sorry. Did Google Maps just take us all the way to Jerusalem? I believe so. All right. I'm working with Hamite Mobile right now, so my internet isn't the best, but it's sufficient and it's been working. So thank you, Father. Hallelujah. So recently viewed Mount Seir, a mountainous peak. Let's scroll our map back a little bit. Scroll our map back a lot of bit. All right. Wadi Musa. Y'all know what Wadi Musa means? All right, this is Wadi Musa. Okay, we got Yarodan. This is depicted on the movie Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. All right, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. So yeah, here we are. So we are. Google has taken us international. So you all are time travelers, you're international travelers. All right, great job, everybody. Welcome. So let's travel. All right, so we're gonna scroll in just a little bit more. Now our journey, our adventure begins here. All right. So we're coming out of Mattot-Massei, Egypt. We come across the sea, and in order to get to our home, there we go. That's what I was trying to figure out how to do that. Okay, I was trying to figure out how to do that. Just had to grab it. Aqaba. All right, we got Aqaba. Shiva. This is so beautiful. Me and my Marshall Cloud, my brothers, we had the blessing of living and staying and visiting Shiva. All right, my bad. I started daydreaming. Let me take a step back. My bad. I started daydreaming. So in the land of Aldumia, Aldumia is still here today. The land of Edom is still here today. In the movie Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, what they did was they took this mountainous region and they actually used it. The Temple of Doom in the movie of Indiana Jones was a place called Petra. This is it right here. So Petra still exists. All right, the place where it's carved and engraved. The Most High told us to not lift up any iron tools on his altars. And this is exactly what the Edomites, what Petra did, the people of Petra did. Now, the people of Petra initially were the Arabians. All right, so the Arabs lived there first, and then Esau came in later, did his thing as Esau does. All right, worldwide, no matter where Esau goes. All right, rape, rob, and murder. Okay. Numbers chapter 33, verse 37. And they removed from Kadesh and pitched in Mount Horeb, in the land, in the edge of the land of Aldumia, which we see how that went. And Aaron the priest, Aaron the priest, went up into Mount Hor and at the commandment of Yahweh, and died there in the 40th year after the children of Israel will come out of the land of Egypt, man, and the first day of the 5th month. And Aaron was 123 years old when he died in Mount Hor. So real quick, just with the death of Aaron, that was painful for me. The death of Aaron was painful for me. He and his brother had to both go up and relinquish their lives, had to relinquish their ministry to the Most High, and his ministry had to be passed down to his sons. So just to think about that, his son sitting there taking his garment off him, one of his bonds stripping him of his garment, of his armor, and it being put on himself, and now he's just back down to a natural man to where he must die. But does that mean that his life is over, his expectancy is over, that his ministry is over? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But it was hard for me when I went through it because I seen a transference of, from brother to son, and, and that was different, and to see that Aaron had to go up there. And it was because of he lost his temper for one. All right. It was because he lost his temper for one. And also, him and Moses said, "Must we give you water to drink?" And when they said that was the issue with them, because the Most High said, "Will you not glorify me?" Oh, man. So we get in trouble a lot, and the Most High doesn't stop his momentum. He doesn't stop his motion. He doesn't stop his ministry. All right. I'm gonna bring up a few things. This is one of my favorite books. This is Flavius Josephus, right? One of my favorite homies. Call him Uncle Joe. All right, Dad Joe, Uncle Joe, Dad Joe, Papa Joe. All right. If you all remember, the last couple weeks, the Torah portion, these are the details that we read. Okay, what happened to the Hebrews during the 38 years in the wilderness? So, if you would like to know all of these points that we hit and all the situations that we went through and learn how to teach them to your children, I don't know how to accurately yet, but I'm learning to. All right. So I'm learning to because I'm always studying. All right. So let's stop right here. So this is paragraph 6. And we're in what is it, book 40? Book 4. Ladies, you'll see. Let me give you the right source. All right, paragraph 6, and we are in book 4. Yeah, book 4, paragraph 6. Oh yeah. Book 4, paragraph 6. Now tell me if this reminds you of anything in Torah. Then it was that Miriam's sister Moses, and oh no, Auntie died. Auntie Miriam passed away. And then it was that Miriam, the sister of Moses, came to her end, having completed the 40th year since she left Egypt. On the first day of the lunar month of Xanthicus, they made a public funeral for her at a great expense. Now, I'm going to scroll down. All right. Son high priest. All right. Now, when this purification, which their leader made upon the morning of his sister, as it had been described, was over, he caused the army to remove and to march through the wilderness and through Arabia. And when they came to a place which the Arabians deemed their metropolis, which was formerly called Akkad, but as now known as the name Petra. All right, Petra. Remember, this is the home of the Alduites, the Edomites. So the Edomites took over the place that the Arabians, it was their New York. It was their big place, right? And here's the old name of it. All right, here. All you gotta do is take the name of Arabians, and the name Arki or Acre, and go to this search and you'll find it. And Petra. So Petra, Arabians, Arki. All right, and you'll find that more history on that. It says at this place, which was encompassed with high mountains, Aaron went up on one of them in the sight of the whole army, Moses having before told him that he was to die, for this was over against them. But he put off his pontifical, or his righteous garment, his righteous armor, pontifical garments, and delivered them to Eleazar his son, to whom the high priest belonged, because he was the elder brother, and died while the multitude looked upon him. Now, I don't know how that works. I have no idea how that works. How Aharon, in his death, did he just give up the ghost? I don't know. He died the same year wherein he lost his sister, having lived in all 127 and 3 years. He died on the first day of the lunar month, which is called by the Hebrews, by the Athenians, Hectoborea, and the Macedonians called Luz, and the Hebrews called Ab. All right. So let me copy this, because I know that there's some Hebrew astronomers like myself, or just people like to know things. You might want to look that up. All right, because you might be able to find some information which helps to further prove the lunar Sabbath is not correct. You might be just in this month, because what it's showing you the months that the Gentiles called in the name of when Aaron died. All right. So you might be able to find some information which you would like to. And I pray Yahweh that He allows us to have a sit down time to be able to do this. If you would like to, what we can do is we can go over the calendars and the names that the Hebrews called them, and what the Egyptians. Look at this. The table, billions, millions, units. All right. That's arithmetic. And hold on. Okay, here we are. Sometimes you gotta do the big flip to find the page. All right, here we are on our astronomy section. All right. So if anyone would like to, we can compare. Now, this isn't about the astronomy. This is about the calendars, because you have some brews that talk about what's called the leap year and the Gregorian calendar. And I just plainly say they just don't know enough. They just don't know enough to actually be talking about the Gregorian calendar, or how the Gregorian calendar had no strong or lasting effect on the Hebrews. So here we go. So this right here, I want somebody to screenshot this. See this? These are the calendars of the other nations. See that up here and down here? I'm going to turn one page back. This is the breakdown on the Hebrew calculation of time, including before the Gregorian calendar, and including how the Gregorian calendar came into existence, including how Hebrews used the leap year. Okay? So when we have our friends, and I love them, and they want to use the book of Enoch, or they want to use something else, I say, okay, that's cool. I say, okay, I see what you did there. But let's go to something older. Okay? Look, this is simple. Farmers on. This is 2024, but the information is still accurate. All right? So it doesn't hurt at all to know the first day of the lunar month, which is called by the Athenians and called by the Macedonians and called by the Hebrews. It doesn't hurt at all. All right. So let's get this real quick. Here's the fun part. So we're still in the Torah portion. If you're watching, if you're vibing, if you're learning, we're still in the Torah portion. All right. Make sure you share this time, Bible Shop. I'm on my same YouTube. I got the same like 4 subscribers. If you would like to see it, help it grow, help the channel grow. All right. Share out, subscribe, like, all that good stuff. The people mourned for Aaron 30 days. And when this morning was over, Moses removed the army. You see the word army right here? Hit. Khan, Shabbat Shalom. I'm sorry? The water. Thank you for your time. So, right here in Numbers chapter 33, from Flavius Josephus's perspective, what he teaches us is that the church was called an army, right? The people mourned for Aaron 30 days, and when his mourning was over, Moses removed the army from their place and came to the river of Arnon, which, ensuing out of the mountains of Arabia and running through all that wilderness, fell into the asphaltites and became a limit between the land of the Moabites and the land of the Amorites. This land is fruitful and sufficient to maintain a great number of men with the good things it produces. Moses therefore sent messengers to where? Sihon, king of this country, desiring that he would grant his army passage upon what security he should please to require. He promised that he would be no way injured, neither as to his country, which Sihon governed, nor as to his inhabitants, and that he would buy his provisions at such a price as should be their advantage, even though he should desire to sell them their very water. But Sihon refused his offer and put his army into battle array and was preparing everything in order to hinder their passing over Arnon. So we're reading this because this is the exact same thing that we seen happen with the Eladium of Yasha'Allah, with the children of Israel, and with this new endeavor, in which we seen that was what, 1978 or something like that. It's right down the street. It hasn't been long that the Gentiles have been mistreating us and have not let us pass through their land. So this is Numbers chapter 33. And I just got a call off the water. I very greatly appreciate you. You're right. We haven't read Numbers chapter 30 yet. All right. We haven't read Numbers chapter 30 yet. What we did was I actually started at 33 because I wanted to be able to show the people the video. I wanted to be able to show the people the videos pertaining to how the nations treat us. Excuse me, when we were leaving out of the land. All right. So that's what I wanted to do, and I think we did a good job of that. I think we did a good job of that. All right. There's so much that I want to read right here. This is the policy settled by Moses and how he disappeared among mankind. And when it says polity, it means the laws that Moses gave us and how he disappeared among mankind. So we were able to read Flavius Josephus, and we were also able to do comparative reading with the Torah. All right. We were able to do that. And also give a visual. I think that was one of my biggest things, is to be able to show the people, this is just, it's a bad mistreatment of the children of Israel, pertaining to that subject matter. And it will be until Hamashiach comes back and redeem us. All right, so much information I want to show and share. All right, so Zen, we're at point 30. All right, we're at Aldumia, Mount Seir. All right, we see that the Edomites would not let us pass through. We said we won't go to the left, to the right. We won't even drink your water. If we do drink your water, we'll pay for it. All right, and boom, back to Numbers chapter 33, verse 39. And Aaron was 123 years when he died in Mount Hor. All right, so this is where we have our Flavius Josephus account, to where we're doing our comparative readings, where we're showing everybody, all right, the back and forth for the understandings. Okay, it's like beautiful information, and it's fun. All right, I'm gonna talk about this also. We came against the Midianites, because the Midianites came against us. All right. This right here is the funniest. It's funny, but it's sad. If you see the name right here is Balaam, right? Balaam was used to try to destroy the Israelites. The Moabites hired the Midianites. So the Midianites have been against us for a long time. I don't know if we just absorbed the Midianites or the Midianites are still around to this day. I don't know who the Midianites are. I would love to say, but I can't. Whoever they were sneaky, mouse, tricky people. And I believe they got their just desserts. This week in the Torah portion, Balaam dies. The children of Israel, we killed Balaam, and I'm so happy about that. Even though he's one of my favorite characters because he actually existed, he was a real warlock who existed, he dies. But Balaam did something that all Israelite men should be aware of. Balaam used women against us. Now, if I seem to be a man who's changing, yes, I've been poly my whole life. Whether I was operating poly in righteousness or whether I was operating poly and when we came to the Torah understanding, I've always honestly been poly my whole life. And what I had to learn was how to operate, and I'm still learning how to operate because I don't know anything. But Balaam knew something. Balaam knew that he could use a few things against us. Balaam knew that he could use the curses against us. He thought he could. Balaam was one of our biggest haters. And he knew how to make the Most High mad at us. So we're going to look at Balaam and the daughters of the Midianites that Balaam brought. Why? Because in this week's Torah portion, Balaam dies. And he was the one who taught the other nations how to manipulate us. Numbers chapter 33, verse 40. And the king Arad, the Canaanite, which dwelled in the south of Canaan, heard the coming of Israel. And they departed out of Hor and pitched in Zalmonah, and departed from Zalmonah and pitched in Punan, and departed from Punan and pitched in Obath, and departed from Obath and pitched in Aijiberium, and in the border of Moab, and departed from Lim and pitched in Dibogna, and they removed from Dibogna and encamped in Almad Diblablib. And they removed from Alman Diblablib and pitched in the mountains of Aram before Nebo. Now, let's stop right there at Numbers chapter 33, verse 46 and 47, because he did not say, the Most High said not to add to or don't take away from, and we shall not preach off his word. Since I couldn't pronounce that word at this time, I had to come here and see how I said it. The word that's there is Al-Mad-Dibla. Al-Mad-Dibla. Let's see what it says.
Strong's H 5963. Almon.
Yeah, I think I do this every time I come to this Torah study. I think every time I come to this Torah study, I have to do the same thing because I think this word throws me off every time. So we have I, Lamad, Mayam, and Na. Almon, and then we have the Baal, Fayah, Mah. All right, so that's a long word to remember. I know the bar. All right, let me separate that. And then Lathyamah. Okay, the bar Lathyamah. All right, the bar Lathyamah. So here's the bar. Oh, excuse me, Dab, not Dab. It's Dab Lathyamah. All right, but what does that mean? So it's a compound word that's put together, all right, a couple different words, all right. So we have Alma, all right, it's concealing the two cakes, a station of the Israelites in the wilderness. We were in the concealing of the two cakes, all right. I have to go back to that. I'm going to go back to that because at 1200, I don't know how to break that down just yet. You know, so if anybody would like to, which a lot of you are, I don't have a high school diploma or GED. I don't know what you Negroes are doing. How are y'all so smart? How did y'all get to be so smart? That's geniuses, man. So encamped at let's read over here in our body. Almna. All right, and then Dablah Yamna. All right. Okay, there we go. And removed from Dablah Athnama and pitched in the mountains of Arabia before Nebo. And they departed from the mountains of Arabim and pitched in the plains of Moab near Jericho. And they pitched by Jericho from Beth Jessamah, even unto Ebel Shittim in the plains of Moab. All right. So we can stop right here from Numbers chapter 33, verse 41 through 49. It's all our journeys. It's all our journeys. All right. So now let's go back to our map. And from our map, we have 42. 40 deuce. You can't make this up. 40 deuce. 42 stops on this chart. And on this chart, you'll see where we stopped at is right in Moab. All right. Because the scripture says what? The scripture says what we just read. It says that we, the Israelites, stopped where? And they pitched by Jordan, all right, from Beth Jessamah even to Shittim in the plains of Moab. Now, I want to know if I look these up, because they're not easy to pronounce. If I look these up, will I have a bearing of where that land is? You know, what's going on in that land? You know, what corner was it? It sounds like an Arabic area. And I'm pretty confident that the only way that one of the few ways, able to system, one of the few ways that this place is known because of our wanderings in the wilderness. Now, I would love this to where it's all Yasha Allah encamped, and we all had our tents, we were all connected and all close. But the reality of it is that Black people don't like to gather. Israelites find every reason that they can to be separate, and it's disgusting. They would rather be separate by themselves and use their imagination until time goes by and they get delusional enough to think that they're fine, instead of coming together and dealing with our issues so that we can be a nation together. So I would love it if Yasha Allah actually could do that, man. That just seems so beautiful. But until then, let's get back to the statement. All right. So Yahushua was the theophany. He was the angel that came down and visited us. He absolutely was. We were not allowed by the Edomites, Numbers chapter 20, to pass through their land. All right. He absolutely said that he would go to war with us. Not only would, but he did go to war with us. The man came out with guns drawn. I will kill you, Negroes, if you think you're going to pass through here. In the plains of Moab, Numbers chapter 33, chapter 33, verse 50. And Yahweh spake to Mashah in the plains of Moab by Jordan near Jericho. All right. So let's go back to our map. So we're here. We're in 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, right? We have 41, and we are near the plains of Jericho. So we went over Zerad. This is the torrent. All right, in the land of Aldumia. All right, so boom. Now it's time for us to cross over and go into our sea blessed Jericho. Jericho is above the land of Aldumia. So I hope that everybody can see that. You use your maps, all that good stuff. You can see that. Numbers chapter 33, verse 51. Speaking to the children of Israel. Notice it didn't say the Hebrew Israelites. Speaking to the Hebrew Israelites. Nope. Speaking to Banya Yashra'Allah. Speaking to Yaladim Yashra'Allah. And say unto them, when you pass over Jordan in the land of Canaan, then ye shall drive out all the inhabitants of the land before you, and destroy their pictures, and destroy their molten images, and quite pluck down all their high places. The Most High sounds like a tyrant. Deuteronomy chapter 7, KJV, Blue Letter Bible. The Most High said, tear down everything that they put up when we come into the land of Jericho. Now, in all fairness to what we've taught, our nationality, our culture, our community, we were taught to put the law of the Most High first and put nothing above the law of Yahweh. Don't put nothing above the law of the Most High. Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 24. And he shall deliver their kings into thine hand, and thou shalt destroy their name from under the heaven. There shall no man be able to stand before thee until thou have destroyed them. The graven images of their gods he shall burn with fire. Thou shalt not desire the gold or silver that is on them, nor take it to thee, lest thou be snared therein. For it is an abomination to Yahweh thy Elohim. Neither shalt thou bring an abomination into thy house, lest thou be a cursed thing like it, but thou shalt utterly detest it. Thou shalt be abhorrent, for it is a cursed thing. That's pretty interesting. I mean, you still got your grandmama's crosses in your house. Well, you got your angels with all the wings around your house. Sorry, I don't know what to tell you. The Most I said, do not desire that. Numbers chapter 33, verse 52. You shall drive out all the inhabitants of the land from before you, and destroy their pictures, and destroy all their molten images, and quite pluck down their high places, and ye shall dispossess the inhabitants of the land, and dwell therein. For I have given you the land to possess it, and ye shall divide the land by lots for an inheritance among your families. And to more ye shall give the more the inheritance, and to the fewer ye shall give the less inheritance. Every man's inheritance shall be in the place where his lot falls. According to the tribes of your fathers ye shall inherit it. And I want to talk about that because all praise Yahweh, I've just recently received an inheritance, and I believe that you all also need to operate the same parameter. I just received a blessing. So you got to operate in your inheritance. All right, that's the only reason why I said that. All right, every man's inheritance shall be in the place where his lot falls, according to the tribe of your fathers. He shall inherit. But if you will not drive out the inheritance of the land from before you, then it shall come to pass that those which ye let remain of them shall be pricks in your eyes and thorns in your sides, and shall vex you in all the land wherein you shall dwell. Moreover, it shall come to pass that I shall do unto you as I thought to do unto you. Please repeat after me. Kala Shara, the body Yahweh, Na'isha, Wa Nashamai. All that Yahweh has said, what we do and hear. So, when the Most High tells us to go into the land, to destroy the land, to destroy the idols, to hate the idols, and to make sure that we do not take on the land ways of the other nations, then that's something that we just supposed to hold fast to that. Unfortunately, the Yaladim of Yashra'Allah, the children of Israel, we didn't do that. Now, there was a while back, we didn't do that. In other words, we co-signed with other nations. We co-signed with the Gentiles. We co-signed with them, and we couldn't get out of the trap that we made with them. We made bonds with them. But the Most High told us through the hand of Joshua to kill them. Not only kill them, to destroy their idols. Not only destroy their idols, tear them down. See, the difference between Joshua and Moses was Joshua, he was like, Most High, are you with us or against us? Moses was like, Most High, please don't kill them all. Masha knew, and he professed whenever the judgments of the wrath of Yahweh was coming. Joshua was like more merciful So when I look at it, Joshua gave us instructions on what not to do, but the children of Israel still did it. Let me get this real quick. Joshua chapter 1, KJV, Blue Letter Bible. There's a brother whose name was Quanath. Quanath, from HOPE, for our people's edification. Quanath got cut in the scripture. He got upset. He got upset because he got cut in the scriptures. He was going back and forth with Sonetter. Sonetter asked him a very easy question. The question was, why couldn't the Lord defeat the Egyptians in the south? Because they had chariots behind them. Anybody remember that? I do. When that happened, Quanath, and it happens to all of us. You know, it happens to all of us. What happened was, instead of saying Yahweh did defeat him, Yahweh could have defeated him. I think he agreed too soon. The point of saying that is to say this. The Most High made a promise that he would deliver us from all of our situations. When we don't believe in him, then he has a problem with that. He made a promise also to the Reubenites and to the Gadites and to the half-tribe of Mannaseh through the hand of Moses that if they did what they said they were going to do, then they would have their own inheritance. So the Gadites, the tribe of Reuben, and I'm guessing the half-tribe of Mannaseh, because if you think about it, that's another tribe of Israel that seems to always separate themselves. Right? You got Ephraim and Manasseh. Ephraim always out there. Ephraim kicking. And if you go by the so-called 12 tribes, Ephraim would be so-called standing up for Puerto Rico. Well, Manasseh, their brother, we know of them, but they're always set apart. They're always not like set apart, just like holy, but set apart like, no, we don't really do that. We don't do our own thing. And this is the same way that Reuben is, Gad is. You know, so Reubenites, Gadites, you might find them cutting themselves off from you. And if you do find a Gadite or Reubenite cut themselves off from you, don't take it the wrong way. It's something that they and we have done way back since the Torah. All right, so I'm gonna read this real quick. This is Joshua chapter 1, verse 14, verse 12. And to the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh, Joshua spoke, now this is after the death of Moses. Joshua spoke, saying, remember the word which my servant of Yahweh commanded you, saying, Yahweh Yahweh, give you rest, and have given you this land. Your wives, your little ones, your cattle shall remain in the land which my servant gave you on the side of the way. But ye shall pass before your brethren armed, all the mighty men of valor, and help them. So Joshua reminds the 12 tribes that we're all supposed to fight together. And this is where our issues come into play. Because Yasha'Allah likes to try to fight by themselves. Yasha'Allah likes to try to stand alone. But it was never like that. Every time the children of Israel, every time we went to war with the other nations, we fought with each other. We fought as a nation. We fought destroying our enemies, right? But then, when you get to this closer time, you have Yasha'Allah wanting to fight all the fights by themselves. But it don't work like that. We ain't even came into the land of Jericho yet. We still out here struggling and trying to make it to just keep our commandments. And doing that alone is a daunting task. It's very hard. It's very hard. So this is why we have to learn how to keep our word. Every word that proceeds out of our mouth is what we have to do. And it's a lot easier if you do help. Doing it by yourself is alone. So you're doing it alone by yourself is a challenge. Learning how to keep your word and go forward with Yahweh, like Mashah. He had to do that his whole way. Moses had to keep his word his whole way. And one time Mashah broke his word. He said, must we give you water? It's like he lost everything. He got upset. He lost his temper. Him and his brother Aaron, Let's go backwards. All right, we're going to go to the book of Numbers, chapter 30. All right. And we're going to read this. It's called the vow. Well, this is subject on the vow. All right. Numbers chapter 30. And I don't want to teach on it. I don't want to teach on it because there's too many vow breakers for me to try to speak on. I'm disgusted at a lot of Israelite women. And I don't have a problem saying that. I'm just based at them, you know. And I'm based at a lot of Israelite men also. So when it comes to talking about vows and keeping vows and breaking vows, I'm one of the first brothers. I broke in a lot of vows. Some of them was not intentional. Pretty sure a lot of them was not intentional. All of them. But sometimes we put our word out there and we mess up on our word, and it happens. But we don't want to be intentional. Like I might say, like, oh, hey, I don't want a new pair of shoes. But I ended up getting a new pair of shoes. Somebody say, well, I thought you said you didn't want no shoes. Oh, yeah, I got some shoes. All right. So the scripture says one slipped at the mouth, but not at the heart. But if you are a vow maker and a vow breaker, then this is for you. All right. The reason I don't want to read this is because of, one, it relates to our covenant with Yahweh. Flat out, but which I love reading for that cause. But I don't want to read it for the sake of, I'm so sick of reading the black women that they don't listen. They don't care about the Bible. They don't respect God. They're not afraid of keeping the commandments. They will literally read this verse and break their entire covenant and then reform their lives around everybody. It's just delusional. So I'm so abased at reading it to disobedient or disrespect, but I'm no Moses. Masha, he had to stand up and read the Torah to us every Sabbath. So let's start off with reminding ourselves of our covenant with Yahweh, and then we'll get into family swearing. Numbers chapter 30, verse 1. And Moses spake to the heads of the tribes, as we get in there, concerning the children of Israel, saying, this is the thing which Yahweh hath commanded. If a man vow a vow to Yahweh, or swear an oath to bind his soul with a bond, he shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceedeth. If a woman also vow a vow unto Yahweh to bind her soul by a bond, being in her father's house in her youth, and her father hear her vow, and her bond wherewith she hath bound her soul, and her father shall hold her peace at her, then all her vows shall stand. Every bond wherewith she bound her soul shall stand. If she says, Abba, I'm dropping out of school, and I'm going to go and become a shoemaker. I'm going to become a shoemaker, and I'm going to Alaska, and I just found out that the new Michael Jordan is going to be an Alaskan dude, and his shoes are going to be the best. He's going to sell moccasins, and I'm going to quit my whole life, and I'm going to travel the world to go to Alaska so I can sell Jordan moccasins. Verse 4, and her father hear her vow and her bond wherein she has bound her soul, and her father shall hold his peace at her, then all her vows shall stand, and every bond wherein she hath bound her soul shall stand. So something as silly and as funny as, like I said, all the way to if you agree with letting your wife dress like a whore. Excuse me. If you agree with letting your wife dress like a harlot. If you agree with letting your wife dress like a man, if you agree with letting your wife walk out the house and she's got on a clown outfit every day, your wife come out the house looking like, she got glitter all over her face. What the hell is that? What happened to your face? Why do you have splashes of weird colored glitter all on your face? That looks like a painted attire of a harlot. Sister, you sure you want to dress like that? You sure that's the example that you want to give to your daughters? Not me, not mine. So if a man agrees with something like that, you know what I'm saying? He allows his daughter to go out like that, then all of his daughter's bonds stand. But if her father disallow her in the day that he heareth of it, no, honey, take that madness off your face. Take off them big clown shoes you got on. Take out that weave, because I don't allow that. Stop wearing leggings out in public. I don't allow that. And this is where the rubber. This is why I said I don't want to teach this. Because you can read it all you want. And the pompous, arrogant, disobedient, horse forehead black woman will say that was back then. That don't apply to me. Shoot, I'll do what I want to do. I love reading it. I'm not tired of it. I'm tired of the people who take the word of Yahweh for its base and for nothing. Like small things don't change big things. Small things change big things. But let's read it because there's somebody out there that cares, that's growing up still. But if her father disallowed her in the day that he inherited, not any of her vows wherein she had bound, or her bonds wherein she had bound her soul shall stand, and Yahweh shall forgive her. Because why? Her father disallowed her. This is sad. Because you have young women who have the opportunity to get out of situations. My father said, I can't. No, I can't go. Why not? My daddy said. My Abba said. But I don't want to go. Just say I said, all right, bet. All you got to do is say, hey, my dad said I can't. We have the power to exercise our God-given power that God has given us if we're exercising it with people who respect it. I don't want to try to exercise people or authority with people who don't respect God's law, statutes, commandments, whether it's in parenting or whether it's in ministry. I don't want to, because it's so vexing to read this and to know, that God gave you authority as a woman, God gave you authority as a man, and one person has the right or power, false right or power, to restrict you of your God-given. It's just, nope. So read it to the people, but the people don't play for it. And it's so sad because this is something that helps our nation. Our daughter could say, my Abba said I can't. Numbers chapter 30, verse 6. And if she had at all a husband when she vowed or uttered out of her lips, wherein she bound her soul, and her husband hear it, and he held his peace at her in the day that he heard it, and all of her vows shall stand, and her bonds where she has bound her soul. But if her husband disallows her in the day that he heard it, then he shall make her vow which she vowed, and that which she uttered with her lips, wherewith she bound her soul of none effect. And Yahweh shall what? Shall forgive her. I think that's so beautiful, that last, that highlighted, unhighlighted. Yahweh shall forgive her. I can't come in and work. You know, my family's a part of a Messianic community. My husband's, he's a teacher. We're all Jews. Whatever you want to call yourself. So no, I know that you want me to be there on the Sabbath day, but my husband and my family, we will be doing this. And I think the black woman is just a despicable, disgusting, man. I think that they're the only ones that don't really operate in this, because I see other nations. I see Arab women do this. I see East Indian women do this. I see European women say, no, my husband and I are going and doing this. And it's only the black woman who don't need a man, who destroys her own family, who destroys her own household, who separates herself and her children because she thinks what's best. See, I was a victim of that too. I was a victim of being separated from my family, regardless of whatever people thought, and then had to grow up with a lost heritage. And it's so sad that if there is a heritage in place, that it's not given to the children. I don't have a lot of defense for it. I don't have a lot of defense for this subject, or people who go against it. If a woman has a husband and her husband is a man of the Most High, and he has the power by God to forgive her, and Yahweh will forgive her. Let me say, to overlook her offense, and Yahweh will forgive her. That's power. But see, this is where it gets tricky and scary at. And I don't encourage no man of Israel to do certain things. Don't marry a widow. Don't marry a widow, brothers. If you can, if the Father's put on your heart to. But he had one of our men of Israel to marry a prostitute, which was Hosea. So if you can, don't marry a prostitute. If you can, don't marry a woman that's been removed or put away. But for the rest of your life, seek out Bacchalion and virgins, because this is what the Father prescribed to us. But if you cannot, then it is better to marry a woman in Yasharallah who has a heart for Yahweh. And sometimes you have to put away, sometimes you have to remove, sometimes you have to divorce. But it's always better to marry with a woman who has never had experience or has less experience as possible. All right, and a few of these are very rough. All right, a few of these are very rough. All right, which could end up causing damage in the end, especially if they don't keep the statutes of Yahweh. All right, so verse 9, but every vow of a widow and of her that is divorced, wherewith they have bound their souls, shall stand against her. And if she vowed in her husband's house, or bound her soul by a bond on her, and her husband heard it, and held his peace, and disallowed her not, then her vows shall stand, and every bond where she bound her soul shall stand. But if her husband utterly made them void, and they heard them, and here's the problem. We live in a different generation, you know what I'm saying, to where we have a lot of conniving, I'll say, or a lot of treachery. A lot of women dealing treacherously with their husbands, even in the Israelite community, even more so in the Israelite community. So, you know, to be able to have a covering and to refuse or to deny or to discard your covering, that's dealing treacherously. And we have to notice, men of Israel and women of Israel, that if this is a characteristic we want to take on, as far as operating like that, of course, we want to suffer consequences from it. But the Most High wants us to keep our vows, from the greatest to the smallest vows. From the greatest vow to the smallest vow, how it literally wants us to keep them all. That's why in a lot of cases, it's better not to swear at all. Just be like, yeah or no, don't swear at all. All right. But if her husband utterly hath made them void on the day that he had heard them, then whatsoever proceeded out of her lips concerning her vow, or concerning the bond of her soul, shall not stand. Her husband hath made them void. And Yahweh shall what? Shall forgive her. But that only matters if it matters to the woman. If it doesn't matter to the woman, she's going to be a whore. She's going to be a fly by night. She's going to be all kind of things in the world. You know, she may stick around for a couple months, a couple days. She may even give you a couple of food. But if she's not afraid of Yahweh, then it doesn't matter. All of her words and her bonds will stick, and they will be against her. And the sad part about it is, a lot of times, all the daughters have to do is just relinquish the authority back over to them. Every vow, Numbers 30, verse 13, every vow and every binding of oath to afflict a soul, her husband may establish, or her husband may make void. Every binding oath to afflict the soul. Every binding oath to afflict the soul. Every binding oath to afflict the soul. And that's why a lot of these Israelites, including me, we say a lot of these women are your wives. They're not. They're letting you borrow them. And that's disgusting, because it's something that happens. And it's been happening in Yasharallah. Which, and to me, when I was in the world, I was out there. When the Most High brought me into the truth, everything changed for me overnight, instantly overnight, instantly. Every vow and every binding oath to afflict the soul. So now my words are actions, my teachings. Now they all have to be different, because we're a nation that's operating, that's working together. And the ratification, let me rephrase that statement. We're attempting to redeem the time and heal our nation. It's really hard to do with a nation of people that don't keep their word. So you got to be the one to do it, and then let the Most High sort out the wheat from the tares. Every vow and every binding oath to afflict the soul, her husband may establish it, or her husband may make it void. I can't take a lot of them seriously. I can do this with Howell. I can do this with ministry. Can't do it with women. Can't, because of the lividity of their sex and how they don't take stuff serious. Can't do it with her. Not unless she's a Deborah. Not unless she's a Rebecca. Every vow binding the soul to afflict the soul. Her husband may establish it, or her husband may make it void. That's a power that you Israelite women have to make your husband kingly or to destroy your husbands. And salute to all you righteous, wonderful Israelite women who do build up your husbands, who do build up your husbands, who do teach your children. Because it's a reward for you all in the end. And the reward is not going to be the man, it's going to be the man. You women are going to inherit Christ himself. Numbers chapter 30, verse 14. But if her husband altogether hold his peace at her from day to day, then he establishes her vows or her bonds, which are upon her. He confirmeth them because he has held his peace in the day that he heareth them. So this is very important for men of Israel. When it's time to speak up, speak up. When it's time to be quiet, okay, hold your peace. It might be something you agree with, or you don't disagree with. But it's something that you staunchly disagree with, you're supposed to be like, I disagree with that. This is why. And let the Most High take it. All right. Verse 15. But if he shall anyways make them void after he hath heard them, he shall bear her iniquity. These are the statutes which Yahweh commanded Moshe between man and his wife, between his father and his daughter, being in their youth in their father's house. Hallelujah. 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 The body of Yahweh. Naisha. Manashama. And all that the Most High said, will we do and hear. I would love to get into a breakdown about that, but I think that you all have seen it already for your lives, for yourselves. You have Israelites who break their word, who don't keep their word, whether it's, I got to speak for mine, whether it's abortion, whether it's murder, whether it's adultery, whether it's stealing, these are all things that Yaladim of Yasha'Allah still have a hard time operating in. Faithfulness is just keeping your word. Numbers chapter 30, you can't keep your word. So I'm not going to go too much more into that, even though I could. Maybe you can go into it for yourself. Numbers chapter 31. Numbers chapter 31, starting at verse 1. All right, let's read. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, avenge the children of Israel of the Midianites. Afterwards, thou shalt be gathered up to thy people. Go and take the children of Israel and go and kill all the Midianites. After you go and kill them, it's going to be your turn to die. And Moshe spake unto the people, saying, arm yourselves unto the war, and let them go against the Midianites, to avenge Yahweh of Midian. Not just avenge me, but avenge the Most High. Because when the Most High vexed his people, when Midian vexed the Most High's people, Midian vexed the Most High. Of every tribe, 1,000 throughout the tribes of Israel, shall ye send to war. So that would be 12,000 men. So there were delivered out of 1,000 of Israel, 1,000 from every tribe, 12,000 armed for war. And Moshe sent them to war, 1,000 of every tribe. Them, Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the priest, to war with the holy instruments and the trumpets to blow in his hand. Now, why is it so important? A couple weeks back, Phinehas was one of the ones that had defeated the Midianites. He defeated the glamour of the Midianites by doing what? By stabbing a Midianite man and his woman, both through the back and through the belly. And I believe it was while they was consummated. Ran him on through. Well, this week in the Torah portion, we see that the Most High them promoted him. Verse 7. And they warred against the Midianites, as Yahweh commanded Moshe. And they slew all the males, and they slew the king of Midian, besides the rest of them that were slain, namely Avi, Rechem, and Zur, and Hur, and Reba, 5 kings of Midian. Balaam also, the son of Beor, they slew with the sword. I thought I would be so much more excited when I came to this part, because I wanted to go over all the information I know about Balaam, which isn't enough. I want to go over Balaam's 2 sons, Janus and Jambres. I want to go into their book and deal with their social. But, you know, I'll leave it there on the desk for you to look at yourself. And they slew him with the sword. And the children of Yashala took all the women of Midian captive. Uh-oh, that's a problem. And their little ones, they took the little ones, that's okay, we took the women. And took spoil of all of their cattle and their flocks and all their goods. And they burnt all their cities where they dwelt, and all their goodly castles with fire. And they took the spoil and all the prey, both men and the beasts. And they brought the captives and the prey and the spoil unto Moses and Eleazar the priest, and unto the congregation of the children of Israel, unto the camp of the plains of Moab, which are near Jordan, or Jericho, all right? And Mashah and Eleazar the priest and all the princes of the congregation went forth to meet them without the camp. And Mashah was wroth. Let's see what this word wroth means. I've seen this word, right? It's like my second time where the Lord was angry with them. And Jacob was wroth with Rebekah. He was wroth with Rebekah because she had a fly mouth. All right, quatzap. All right, the word is quatzap. Quatzap means wrath, wrath, displeased, angry, angered, fret. Uh-oh. Fret not thyself. Uh-oh. All right. So he was quatzap. He was quatzap. All right. And Mashah said unto them, have ye saved the women alive? Behold, these caused the children of Israel through the counsel of Balaam to commit trespass against Yahweh in the matter of Peor, and there was plunged among the congregation of Yahweh. Excuse me. Then there was a plague among the congregation of Yahweh. Now, excellent. Let's stop right there in Numbers chapter 31. Wait. All right. Boom. All right, so we're here. All right, so everybody should be able to see this. All right, so we're gonna get this real quick. We're also gonna get Josephus, because y'all know I love the homies writings. So watch this. Boom. Now watch this. This was before Balaam was put to death. Before Balaam was put to death, he told the Hamites, I should have said that. He told the Midianites how to destroy us. And the men, we fell for it, like the suckers we sometimes are. We fell for it, you know. Now let's see the trickery, the sorcery, and the witchcraft of the Midianite women that would do ye. Okay, so this is Balaam, right? This is before we killed Balaam in Great War. But after that, they will flourish again, the Israelites. They will flourish again to the terror of those that brought these mischiefs upon them. So that if you have a mind to gain victory over them for a short space of time, you'll obtain it by following my directions. This is what Balaam said. Do you therefore set out the comeliness of such of your daughters as are most eminent for beauty, and proper to force and conquer the modesty of those that behold them. So set out your finest daughters with the baddest bodies, with the prettiest whatever that could be used to force and conquer the men of Israel, but not just the men, young men. But look at how it's worded. See? Do you therefore set out the comeliness, that's the beautifulness, of such of your daughters that are most eminent in beauty, look at this, and proper to force and conquer the modesty of those that behold them. And these decked and trim at the highest degree you are able. Take your finest daughters, make them finer than fine. Put on the most beautiful jewelry on them. Put gold sunflowers on them and You know what I'm saying? I had to say that because respect. You know what I'm saying? Make them decked out. Give them big eyelashes. You feel me? Then do you send them to be near the Israelite camp, to give them in charge, that when the young men of the Hebrews desire their company, they allow it them. So set out your daughters, make them beautiful, make them to be whores, not with leggings and not with short shorts and biker shorts and all that other stuff, but put them in decked out apparel, put them in the most beautiful garments, put them in the most beautiful jewelry, and let them sit amongst the young men. Then do you send them to be near the Israelites' camp. You see that? So all you Israelite camp phrase haters, you Negroes are just ignorant to what the word camp means. You just don't like some Negroes in a specific school, so therefore you talk bad about all camps. You talk bad about all camps, you disrespect all Yasharala. The word camp means machanah. It means army, it means church. So get over it. Then do you set them to be near the Israelites' camp, and give them in charge, that when the young men of the Hebrews desire their company, they allow it them. And when they see they are enamored of them, take them that their leaves. Let them take their leaves. And if any they entreat them, say, let them not give their consent until they have persuaded them to leave off from the obedience of their own laws and the worship of that God who established them, and to the worship of the gods of the Midianites and Moabites. For by this means will Yahweh God be angry with them. Accordingly, when Balaam had suggested counsel to them, he went his way. So when the Midianites had sent their daughters, as Balaam had exhorted them, the Hebrew young men were allured by their beauty and came to discourse with them and besought them not to grudge them the enjoyment of their beauty. Come on, baby, don't hold it back from me. Let me kick it with you. Nor to deny them their conversation. Oh, I can't get no holler. You ain't gonna talk to me? It's me. You ain't gonna talk to me. These daughters of the Midianites received their words gladly and consented to it and stayed with them. But when they had brought them to be enamored of them, so once the women knew that these men was in love with them and their inclinations to them were grown to ripeness. Oh, he had the highest peak, girl. I got him whipped. They began to think of departing them. You know what? I'm bored. I just don't want to do this no more. They began to think of departing from them. Then it was that these men became greatly disconsolate at the women's departure. Oh, no. Don't leave me, baby. Baby, don't go. What would I ever do without you? It's a form of witchcraft and manipulation that was used against the men of Israel. And Balaam taught it not by science, not by potions, not by spells, but he taught it through women. Testament of Reuben. So, brothers, I encourage you, change, shaping up, make your face like flint if you need to. Don't be underly compassionate, but don't be overly compassionate. All right? Don't be. All right? This is the testament of Reuben. With these spirits this is the testament of Reuben, chapter 1, verse 23. With these spirits are mingled the spirits of error. First, the spirit of fornication, seated in the nature and the senses. The second is the spirit of insatiableness in the belly. The third is the spirit of fighting and delivering the gall. The fourth is the spirit of sequence, obsequiousness. Thank you, Father. The fourth is, did y'all see my lips moving? I was trying to read without speaking. The fourth is the spirit of obsequiousness and caninery. All right, that's being argumentative and causing problems. I know a woman like that. I know a few women that's like that. And I don't know why Israelites expect me to not speak on it. And then they be like, yo. And then when I do speak on it, I get called like I'm vile or some kind of hater. Man, I'm gonna tell the truth. Obsequiousness and chicanery. That means they sneaky and they have fake conversations with you to cause problems. All right. They have obscure conversations to cause confusion, and then they have tricky conversations to cause arguments. Men, we got to do better. So I reverence the women who don't want to argue, who don't want to have tricky conversations. Remember, brothers, the scripture says the woman's eye, the eye weepeth on every cause. Socrates, the great artist and teacher Socrates, the Negro who was put to death by his friends and peers because they envied him. Yeah. Socrates says, believe not a woman when she cries, for it is a woman's nature to cry when she wants something. So now that's not every occasion. It's not every occasion. All right. But it's good to be knowledgeable of these things that's written for it. All right. That through offenses, attention, one may be fair and seeming. That through officious attention, one may be fair and seeming. Yeah, okay. Through officious seeming, one may be fair. Yeah, they be trying to trick you. Yeah, you got into a whole argument. She done had a conversation with you, screwed your head on, and you forgot the text messages and the pictures and the stuff that she was doing on her phone because she started arguing with you. Brothers, we got to do better. The fifth is the spirit of pride, that one may be boastful and arrogant. The sixth, the spirit of lying and perdition and jealousy and the practice of deceits and the concealments from mankind and friends. The seventh is the spirit of injustice, with which are thefts and acts of rapacity, that a man may fulfill the desire of his own heart. For injustice worketh together with other spirits by taking of gifts. All right. So I want to share this with everybody. If you have not read it, please do. It's the Testament of Reuben and the psychology, all right, the spiritual and mental psychology of what we deal with when we're dealing with, women. I gotta say, manipulative women, because that's what we're looking at in Flavius Josephus. But this is also the book of Numbers. This is the book of Numbers. All right, we're still on the Torah portion. If you haven't been able to keep up with me, please, try. And for those of you that's sending out messages and things like that, thank you for putting them out there because I need them. We need it. I appreciate it. We appreciate it all. All right, so let's get back to this real quick. This week's Torah portion, and we have Josephus. He's reading to us. He's explaining to us how the Midianite women manipulated us. Now, whether you want to put this on, I'm going to put this on account of today of all the women that I've dealt with in my Israelite life. And if I say all of, and how many Israelite wives, you don't even get me asking questions about you women. So the Israelite women I've dealt with have been examples of righteousness or unrighteousness. The Israelite women that I know in the truth, and I've seen them behind the scenes, they're examples of, are they this type of woman or are they a Proverbs 31 woman? And I know some Proverbs 31 women. Okay? And just because, let me say this too, just because a person speaks out of the side of their neck sometimes, don't mean that they're wicked. Because you have a person that talk crazy, fly, but they ain't out there doing nothing. They be talking crazy, whoop, 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 but they ain't out there sinning. All right, so we can't always take things like it is what it is, something like that. Some stuff it is what it ain't. All right, but let's see this real quick. Let's see what the elder teaches. But it was that these men became greatly consolidated at the women's departure, and that they were urgent with them not to leave them. They begged they would continue there. And because they're wives, and they promised them they should be owned as mistresses all the time. This is Trick Master Flex Supreme right here. Listen, y'all, please don't go. Stay here with us. Hey, man, be our wives, man. Hey, man, listen. I promise you're going to be owned as my mistress. Not my first wife, because when I went to war, my first wife was at home. You can't be my first wife. You can be my mistress. You see how this word is dope. And the word wife only means woman. So if you really want to break down word, that's your wife. You're right. That's my daughter. That's my woman. That's my sister. That's my maiden. You're right. So wordplay in the scripture is very important. Also knowing the meaning of all the words that you speak is important. So we promise them, don't go, baby. I'll give you the sun, the rain, the moon, the stars, and the mountain. I'll give you the word. And all that. This is what we was doing. We was promising like some stupid sucker supremes. Right? This they said with an oath. That takes us back to Numbers chapter 30. This week, we started this week's Torah portion at Numbers chapter 33 for a reason. So everybody can get a visual of what was going on, can get emotional. Numbers chapter is so dope because it starts off with a picture of what's going on inside the Torah. I know this week's Torah portion started in Numbers chapter 30 at quoting a vow. And I'm so very grateful for those of you who informed me and let me know. But we've done Numbers chapter 33. I've been up since whenever the Most High had me up studying. All right, which is why this class started early. I plan on going to another class at 3 o'clock, which is why I need to finish up. Oh yeah, let's go ahead and finish up. Because I'm not on sitting around and I'm not doing that. I'm going to praise Yahweh, and I'm gonna teach the law of the Most High today. And I'm gonna learn, I'm gonna be a student today. All right. So this week's Torah portion starts with the oath, Numbers chapter 30. So then we get to Numbers chapter 33, you get the journey of the children of Israel. All this stuff flows together. Let's read. This is the book of Flavius Josephus, Antiquities of the Jews, teaching us. It says, this they said with an oath and called for God, the arbitrator of what they promised. And this with tears in their eyes. Brothers were sucker, simping, super supreme, crying out to Yahweh that these whores would stay with us and we would give them everything that we own. And this they said with an oath and called to Allahiyah for the arbitrator of what they promised, and this with tears in their eyes, and all other such marks of concern as might show how miserable they thought themselves without them. And so might move passion for them. So Negroes was crying. I swear to God, I swear. Man, that's old bruh. Old bruh. Man, old hood. Man, old bruh. Man, old folk in them. Man, old put on him. Man, that's old. They swearing out their damn head for these harlots. And making our faces look all torn. And this hurt me so bad because once I learned it, I said, man, don't none of this stuff, a lot of stuff matter, but you find out a lot of this stuff doesn't matter. Like this Torah, all this words, right? But then you find out trying to convince or persuade, trying to convince a piece of turd that they're actually a Snickers candy bar is never going to work. You can't do it. I can try to convince you you're a Snickers candy bar, but ultimately you're a turd. And this is what these dudes did. This is what these niggas, and this is what we still do today. This is why we have to learn our downfalls. So we have to learn feminine tactics, so we don't fall by them. I'm gonna hold a moment of silence real quick, man. Now, I'm gonna do that another time. But let's get back to this reading. This is amazing. So the women, as soon as they perceived they had made them their slaves, watch for this, brothers. As soon as the women perceived they made you their slaves and caught them with the conversation, began to speak thus to them. Oh, you illustrious young men, we have our own. We have our houses of our own at home. And great plenty of good things there, together with the natural affection of our loved parents and friends. We don't need you. I got my own house. I'm an independent woman. I got my own car. I got my own friends. I got my own family. I got my guy. It's the same tactics. And the sucky part about it is that the Israelite women are doing what the Midianite women did. So after the men did all this praying and crying and begging, baby, don't go. The women turn around and say, oh, you illustrious men. That's mocking them. We have houses of our own at home and a great plenty of good things there, together with the natural affection of love for my parents and friends. Nor is it out of our want of any such things that we come to discourse with you, nor did we admit of your invitation with design to prostitute the beauty of our body for gain. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. That's exactly why they got with us, to prostitute their bodies for our gain. The whole way to these zanayim, the word whore is zanah. The whole word Zanahim, or whores, plural, harlots. The Zanahim, the way that they word it in here is they flip everything. They say, they flip everything. It's a flip conversation. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. So when women do it, I can't unsee it. I really was like, I should teach this with the Torah portion. I got issues. But a lot of us do. So what better time to teach them? They say, nor is it out of our want of any such thing that we come to this discourse with you. But what, look at what they said. Nor, look at this. Nor did we admit of your invitation. And that's why you got to be careful. You got to be careful, brothers, when you approach a woman, because they'll turn everything on you and they'll be like, oh, it was all you. It was all your fault. It was all you. I got my own stuff out. So studying the Torah portion, reading the Torah portion, following the Torah portion, be like, oh, man, it's the same stuff. And it should change you men. It should change you men up top. But no, it changes. It changes me. We're designed to prostitute the beauty of our body for gain. Yes, they did do that. But taking you for brave and worthy, man, I thought you was a real man. I thought y'all was real men. I thought y'all was real men. That's what these Midianite women said and did. But taking you for brave and worthy men, we agreed to your request. Oh, now all of a sudden it's, see, they set themselves up in a position to be requested, and then they say, we accepted your invitation. That we might treat you with such honors as hospitality required. We only doing this because this is what we're supposed to do. And now seeing that you say you have a great affection for us, we are troubled when you think, we are departing. We are not adverse to your entreaties. And if any may receive such assurance of your goodwill as we think can be alone sufficient, we will be glad in lending our lives with you, to lead our lives with you as your wives. But we are afraid that you will in time be weary of our company and will then abuse us and send us back to our parents after an ignominious manner. And they desired that they would excuse them in the guarding against that danger. But the young men professed they would give them any assurance they should desire, nor did they at all contradict what they had requested. So great was the passion that they had for them. If then, said they, this be your resolution, since you make use of such customs and conduct a life as entirely different from all other men, and so much of your kinds of food, and so much that your kinds of food are peculiar to yourselves, and your kinds of drink not common to others, it will be absolutely necessary if you will have us for your wives. Now, somebody help me this. What kind of drinks do we have, Yasha? What kind of, it says, and your kinds of drinks not common to others. Has anybody ever done a Hebrew Israelite study on what drinks that we do that aren't common to others? I really want to know this. I like drinking more than I like eating. All right, which all praise the Most High. You know, I'm not an alcoholic. You know, but if I was, it's like I really don't. Well, yeah, I do. I really don't get drunk. Yeah, I do. Take that back. All right. But what common drinks did Israelites have? Like, what is the Israelite smoothie that we used to make? All right. It will be absolutely necessary if you will have us for your wives that you do with all worship our gods. What? Nor can there be any other demonstration of the kindness which you say you already have and promise to have hereafter to us than this. What? That you worship the same gods that we do. What? As one reason to complain, for has anyone reason to complain that now you are coming to this country, you should worship the proper gods of the same country, especially while our gods are common to all the men, and yours such belong to nobody else but yourselves. So they said they must either come into such methods of divine worship as all of us came to, or else they must look out for another world wherein they may live by themselves, according to their own laws. Now, the young men were induced by the fondness they had for these women to think they spake very well. You know what, baby? That's a good idea. You know what? I ain't even mad about that. You know, okay, I ain't even mad about that. Let me think about that. So they gave themselves up to what persuaded them and transgressed their own laws, and supposing there were many gods, and resolving that they would sacrifice to them according to the laws of that country which ordained them, they both were delighted with their strange food and went on to do everything that the women would have them do, though in contradiction to their own laws. So far, indeed, that this transgression was already gone throughout the whole army of the young men, and they fell into sedition that was much worse than the former, and into danger of the entire absolution of their own institutions. You see that? So Yasha'Allah got greatly in trouble, got greatly judged, got greatly in danger, because what we did was we stopped being obedient and we started following the women that was around, the Midianite women. We've seen their tactics, their manipulation, their witchcraft. Go thank you. I appreciate your comments, your statements. We've seen it and we submitted to them. And in that form of submission, what we did was we stopped keeping the laws of our own God. That's pretty hurtful. Numbers chapter 31, verse 16. Numbers chapter 31, verse 15. So remember, everybody, we're still here. All right, let's come back to our map. So by now, everybody, we are here. Remember, we passed Zerad, the Zerad Torrent. This is the land of Idumea. This is Mount Seir. This is the wilderness of Zin, where Miriam died. We could have took a 1-week trip and passed straight through here and been in Judea. I-U-D-A-E-A, Udea. We could have been there. But our big brother Esau, they came out against us, and he was like, go home, niggers. You can't go past here, niggers. Remember that? So we got stuck here, and we had to go around, boom, so torrent, Zerad, torrent, heavy flow current. All right, 39, 40, 41, 40. So we're at where? We are now, excuse me. You know what? I'm sorry, that's not 40. That's 40, 41, 42. I was reading the map coordinates. Excuse me, the map page. I got to break that down. 60, 20, 40, 60, 20, 40, 69. I got to break that down. So now this is where we are, okay? Coming over the, I want to say Jordan. Coming over the river to go into Jericho. All right, so that's where we are. All right, if everybody can see. Came up. All right, we're over here. There's Idumea, Mount Seir. All right, they beat the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. So this is coming up. See my Torah. All right, Numbers chapter 31. Numbers chapter 31, verse 15. Now remember, we just read all of that about the Midianites and us keeping the Midianites alive because there was a great plague that happened on us because of it. All right, so verse 17. Now therefore, kill every male among the little ones, and kill every woman that hath known man by lying with him. So if it was a young lady, now how do we get that? I mean, we automatically, if you was a mother, you was dead. But what if you was like a 17-year-old girl? What if you was like a 17-year-old girl and, you know, we don't know if you were a virgin or not? How did we prove she was a virgin? I know a way. We had to drink a certain type of water. The word right here is top, and pa. It can be tapa or top. All right, which means referring to a tripping gang of children, right? Little ones, children, families. Children, little ones, little ones, little ones. All right, all praise, man. Pa, pa, top, 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 top. All right, collection is little children, boys and girls, so-called from their brisk and tripping games. That's funny. That's funny. All right. So back to it, Numbers chapter. Every male amongst the little ones, and kill every woman that has known man by lying with them. But all the women children, right, that have not known man by lying them, keep them alive for yourselves. Keep them alive for who? Keep them alive for what? Keep them alive for who? So therefore, all women children that have not known a man by lying with them, these were the ones that we kept for our women. All right. We kept the women who have not been polluted by men. Now, these varied from all different ages. So take that how you want it. But what we did not keep was, the women who had been defiled by men. All right. And do ye abide without the camp 7 days. Whosoever hath killed any person, and whosoever hath touched the slain, purify both yourselves and your captives on the 3rd day and on the 7th day. So not only purify myself, but purify all my animals. Purify all the children, all the young ladies, all right, that I'll be having with me too. All right, regardless if you like that or not. All right, purify your raiment. This means washed. So washed. All right, so washed over and over. Kodash, purified, sanctified, make clean. So we did clean our clothes. We're Israelites, we wore clean clothes, all right. And all is made of skins and works of goat's hair, and all things made of wood. And Eleazar the priest said unto them, to the men of war which went to battle, this is the ordinance which Yahweh commanded Moshe. Only the gold and the silver and the brass and the iron, the tin and the lead, everything that may abide in fire, ye shall make it go through fire, and it shall be clean. Nevertheless, it shall be purified with the water of separation. And all that abideth not the fire, he shall make go through the water. So in other words, if it could burn, burn it. If it couldn't burn, wash it. All right. And ye shall wash your clothes on the 7th day, and ye shall be clean. And afterwards, ye shall come into the camp. All right. Now, this part, Numbers chapter 25. Okay. Numbers chapter 25, and I'm sorry, 31. We're at verse 25. I'm going to go down to verse 54. Right. So this is going to be the separation of when we robbed the Midianites. What order we take? Now, first of all, let's look at this. I didn't just want to go over the part to where the Midianites used their women to spoil us. I actually want to go into where they used Balaam to spoil us also, because Balaam was a big part of it. But I didn't. I want to encourage that everybody does though. Okay. So now we're going to go to the counting and calculation of what the Most High gave us. The book of Numbers chapter 31, and we're in verse 25. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, take the sum of the prey that was taken, both man, beast, thou, Eleazar, the priest, and the chief fathers of the congregation. So we took what? Man and beast. And divided the prey into 2 parts, between them that took the war upon them, who went out to battle, and between all the congregation. So now let's split up all of these thousands of prey. Let's split up all these thousands of animals and people. And Levi attribute unto Yahweh of a man of war, which went out to battle, one soul 500, both of the persons, and of the beeves, and of the asses, and of the sheep. Take it of their half, and give it to Eleazar the priest, for a heave offering unto Yahweh. And the children of Yasha'Allah's half, thou shalt take 1 portion of 50 of the persons of the beeves and the asses, and of the flocks, and all manner of beasts, and give them unto the Levites, which keep charge of the tabernacle of Yahweh. And Mashah and Eleazar the priest did as Yahweh commanded them, and the booty being the rest of the prey which the men of war had caught was 670,500 sheep, 312,000 beeves, 301,000 asses, and 32,000 persons in all. Of the women that had not known men by lying with them, let me see, and 32,000 persons as well, women that had not known men. 33,000, 32,000, 2,000. Wow, that's what's up. And verse 36, and the half which was a portion of them that went out to war was in number 300,000, 30,500 sheep. And Yahweh's tribute of sheep was 600. 3 score. And when the beeves were 30 and 6, and of the beeves were 30 and 6,000, of which Yahweh's tribute was 312. Of the asses there was 30,500, of which Yahweh's tribute was 301. And the persons were 16,000, of which Yahweh's tribute was 32 persons. This is teaching us how to do that. And Mashah gave the tribute, which was Yahweh's heave offering unto Eleazar the priest, as Yahweh commanded Mashah. And the Yaladim of Yasha'Allah, the children of Israel's half, which Mashah divided from the men that were now the half that pertained to the congregation, was 300,000, 30,000, and 7,500 sheep. That's amazing. And 30,000, and 30 and 6,000 beeves, 30,000 asses, and 500 and 16,000 persons, even of the children of Israel's half. Moses took one portion of 50, both of man and of beast, and gave them unto the Levites, which kept the charge of the tabernacle of Yahweh, as Yahweh commanded Mashah. And the officers, I heard a brother say to me earlier, show me in the Bible where God told us to be up under the camps and judges and leaders. And I said, yeah, brother, most I gave us judges, officers, elders. Of course, we're supposed to be up under the congregation. And the officers, which were over 1,000 of the host, captains of thousands, captains of hundreds, captains, unto Moses. And they said unto Mashah Moses, thy servant has taken some of the men of war, which are under our charge, and there lacketh not one man of us. We went to war, and every single one of us came back. We have therefore brought an oblation of Yahweh. What every man has gotten of jewels and of gold, and chains and bracelets, rings, earrings, and tablets, to make an ornament for their souls before Yahweh. Wait a minute, is this another verse showing that we got jewelry? I think it is. And Moses and Eleazar the priest took the gold of them, even all wrought jewels, and the gold of the offering. I look forward to getting this. I want to show you all this real quick. I gotta move this out of the way. I look forward to getting into this. All right. So as we study the breastplate and the high priest garments, I look forward to getting into this. This is a very, very beautiful book. All right. Story of the gems. All right. But this book, I didn't find this book better than the historical document. All right. Numbers chapter 31, verse 52. And all the gold offerings that they offered up to Yahweh of the captains of the thousands, the captains of the hundreds, was 16,750 shekels. For the men of war had taken spoil, every man for himself. And Mashah Eleazar the priest, gold of the captains of thousands and hundreds, brought into the tabernacle of congregation for a memorial for the children of Yahshua before Yahweh. Repeat after me. Kal Shaddai, the body of Yahweh, Na'isha, Wanashemai. All that Yahweh said, what we doing here. All right, I want to say I'm very grateful for this time. I'm going to end up pausing this video and coming back. And if you all would like to, I would encourage you to come back with us. All right, with that being said, Shabbat Shalom.